Good afternoon. It is 2:59. I'm Joseph Bonanno live from the 104.5 The Zone studio. Several teams around the NFL are back in their buildings today, including the Titans, who met with the media earlier today before the NFL draft, where general manager Mike Bergonzi talked about if they know what they want to do with the number one overall pick.
Yeah, no, we've come to a consensus. The entire organization is to stay at that pick, and I guess you'll find out Thursday night who we pick.
In other NFL news, 49ers quarterback Brock Purdy did arrive with his team for voluntary offseason conditioning. According to Ian Rappaport, the two sides are continuing to have conversations about an extension. Star tight end for the 49ers, though, George Kittle will not be in attendance as his contract extension is not close to being done. Tonight, Tennessee baseball is looking for a bounce back as they host Lipscomb at Lindsey Nelson Stadium. First pitch is at 5 p.m. For your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you need to visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Yo, what up, Nashville? 3HL's on the air. It is NFL Draft Eve, and we're all ready. The Titans brass met with the media today. You'll hear from some of those guys in just a little bit as we roll through the show today. Coming up at 4 o'clock, Keith Bullock, two-time All-Pro linebacker
Bully
for the Tennessee Titans, will be in studio for as long as he wants.
One of my favorites ever to cover. You needed a soundbite? You go to Keith Bullock.
He got something for you.
Right, which is why he's coming in at 4 o'clock. Also, we've got Zach Lyons in studio, who is right here. But first things first, Dawn Davenport with her Starbucks is here.
Let's go.
What up, Babsy?
Woo! I'm on fire today, y'all.
Your choice of pre-show content we're not going to talk about, but need to up your game. Also, Zach, while you're here, man, what's going on? What's going on with this chair, dude? Why do you sit so high, man?
I am short. I mean, I don't feel like Jackson ever puts me in a good light, so I have to try to put myself in a good light.
You got to help yourself.
You got to help yourself.
What does Jackson have against you? What's going on there?
Well, I don't know. I mean, Joseph turns on the microphones for you guys. I don't even get that.
Yeah, because I just sit here.
Some of us.
Yeah, I just sit here with mine off.
That's what happens. Jackson filled in, and Slay and I's mics are not on.
Yeah, I have to tell Blaine. You'll see me on the video. I have to tap because he's apparently used to it too.
By the way,
so what does these people have in common? Slay, Dawn, and Blaine. Divas, perhaps.
No, we just like to get the work done without worrying about other stuff.
That's right, yeah.
Very well said. You can watch the show live, YouTube, Facebook Live, Twitter, and Twitch.
Twitch, please.
Robert Walsh is in the chat, y'all.
Bird.
They went to the zoo. They let the animals in with the animals to interview the animals. And what's funny about it is, number one, the whole thing is funny.
Hilarious.
I mean,
really funny.
Bert interviewing animals about the draft is pure comedy for me. But the other funny thing is, like, the best joke involved was a joke that they didn't even think of. It's one that you thought of.
Yeah, it was. They interviewed a kangaroo for Joey Sly, and I'm like, you interviewed a Joey about Joey, and I think that's peak comedy. And
Lucas retweeted. He was like, I didn't even think of that. Or texted us.
Oh yeah.
Slay's here, y'all.
I'm in the building.
You ready for the roof to come off?
It's getting closer, Babsy. I will say that. I got to find something to do within the 48 hours. What is that? New mic condom. There's your name on it.
Yes. This used to be my mic condom, and I was supposed to take it off every day and take it with me, but I leave it on. So, Zach spits in
everybody's mic condom.
Good. Slate, now you need a new one.
Bugs
No, I got one.
Disgusting. Oh, good.
Yeah, I always put it over. I just didn't want to do it right now because the mic was on, but I'll leave it on and do it. Hey, but this is the thing. I'm getting ready. I got to figure out what I'm going to do for the next 48 hours knowing that we're going to take Cam Ward.
Yep.
Like, what do you do?
So you open up this draft guide.
Thank you, Zach.
What are you doing over there, Zach?
So apparently, I just was told this. I was just told on Twitter, today's Earth Day, and so I printed off on Earth Day 2 big guides for me and Stoney because we're doing a all-day mega cast on Saturday for 105 The Zone. We'll be going from 11 a.m. all the way to the Titans' last pick. But apparently this is 200 and something pages, obviously.
Shout out to
but
Mark.
also Earth Day. A lot of trees dead today on Earth Day.
No, not
Zach?
dead. They dedicated them lives.
That's
Their
true.
lives
That's
to
true.
the betterment of the draft.
You do that day, though, you got to go deep.
How I remember as a kid, that used to be a big thing. We'd go to like Centennial Park or some crap on a school bus. Anyway,
For Earth Day?
yeah, yeah. Look, there's trees out there.
There it is.
So, how do people get this NFL guide that you and Stoney?
Stackingtheinbox.com. It's a website I started a couple of years ago, and Stoney joined on when we did the Senior Bowl 2 years ago. And this is our second annual one. So we've been doing this for 3 years. This is our second annual one, though. And Stoney does a lot of the film work. He watches almost all these. Last year, he did over 300, which was insane for him to do because he watches like
That's
2 or
like
3 games.
Cosell
We list the
numbers,
games,
yeah.
that he watches and everything. And then I bring it in from the data side on top of that of stuff that I've worked on and perfected over the last couple of years as well. So it's the top 200 is a little interesting. I will say that me and Stoney have had many arguments over Tyler Shuck's placement as quarterback 3.
Yeah, you're not a fan, right?
No, I am not a fan.
So
I can't buy into it.
Cosell kind of likes him.
Yeah, a lot of people do, but
Cosell said he didn't know.
He says he's a
Where
big
to-
guy with a big arm.
Right.
yeah, I just
Didn't
am
know where
like,
to put him.
he's 26. He's injury prone. He had to be in a quarterback
That's true.
battle every year. He had to battle to be in a quarterback spot. He was never, and maybe that's good too, like
Didn't
in a way,
finish
but like,
seasons. Yeah.
I just couldn't get into it.
Well, I also think, part of that too
Yeah.
was, I don't know, just listening to him talk this season before a game, like all of that has kind of made him into who he was. And then
Yeah.
the whole injury thing, I think, took off. And there was so much talk that it was way worse. His injury history
Yeah.
was way worse than it actually was once you dive in and all that. So,
Yeah.
I can see that, though. He's a question mark, but he's a worker, man.
Yep.
I mean,
sometimes that is enough, right?
He's like 4 a.m., get up and get in the building and get stuff done before anybody even shows up.
Yeah.
So where are you guys with the narrative that that the first round kind of lacks what a normal first round might, but rounds 2 through 4 you can find some value and maybe some starters?
Yeah, I think everybody's right on that. Is like this class is lacking blue chip players, and there's probably not enough. I think someone said it the other day in an article is like the difference between number 7 and 32 isn't that big, and really the difference between 32 and 64 probably isn't that big in this draft. Now I do think that certain positions have that fall off, like obviously edge, going to be a run on edge. Edge is going to see a huge fall off way earlier than possible, so you may have to attempt to get edge. But I do see, to me, with the COVID year catching up now to the NFL draft, a lot of those players that took the COVID year are entering the draft. So you're going to have a lot of, I think experience plays into that because you're getting a lot of guys with 4 or 5 years worth of experience where normally you're probably getting a lot of guys with 2 or 3 years of experience.
That's a good point.
How often, real quick, Babs, my bad. How often do you get an opportunity to go back to this during maybe the year or 2 years later?
We go back to it a lot. Stoney has, I know this looks like I killed a bunch of trees. Stoney has notebooks upon notebooks upon notebooks. I mean, he is a handwritten notes guy, and he does one every year.
So's your girl.
He has one for draft,
So am
one
I.
for film, one for current Tennessee Titans stuff. Like he's going to go, he's a madman. So he told Ramon, Kayla, and Will on Monday that once this draft cycle is like complete and final, he's going to go through and chart every offensive play for the Tennessee Titans in 2024. And I mean, this dude, he lives, breathes football. So like, I mean, he's going through and going to chart every play. So
Bless his heart.
yeah, I mean, he's
To have to
he's insane.
relive
I
that.
hope he's got some brown water to get him through
Yeah.
that.
Oh, he's a gin guy, but he definitely
Okay.
goes into the bourbon and stuff.
Yeah.
And we text almost every day, but we were texting Saturday, and I was putting the final touches on the draft guide because he knows that we're trying to get this out on Monday. He's like, well, I snuck in Ollie Gordon, and then I'm thinking about doing a couple. I said, no more.
Like, stop it.
You are
I
cut
said,
off.
you are done. I said, I need to get this done because my schedule is hectic, so I need to get this done because I was also adding in some of my analysis to get us over that 200 hump because our schedule's kind of beat us down this year. But we do go back after it, and we kind of sometimes you have to laugh at it. Sometimes you learn from it. Like we were talking about Matt Corral recently.
Yeah.
Birmingham Stallions, UFL. That was a guy that we both really liked. But it was more about the falling in love with what he could be and ignoring what he was. And I think that's similar to a couple of different players over the last few years. So that's something I've really started tempering down expectations in my analysis and not trying to get caught up in the dream and get caught up in the reality.
He's the one that's made me resist the urge to even take a glance at Jackson Dart.
Yeah. I think that's a good thing.
Just because the Ole Miss thing?
No, because I like what he said. Like I thought Matt Corral was, and I thought Matt Corral was really good. You know what I'm saying? I thought he was athletic enough. Everything but.
And here's the reporter side in me, right?
Yeah.
But do you remember, were you with us? You might not have been with us yet at SEC Media Days when we talked to him. I don't think you were with us yet. Brent, do you remember? I think it might have been me, you, and Mickey.
Corral went twice. So, yeah, I don't think Slay was there for him.
Yeah, I think I got the second one.
Maybe the second one.
I got the second one.
You got the second one.
The first one.
The second one, he was all bottled up in a seersucker suit or something. It was the whole thing was weird.
The first one, he was like the California chill. But even then,
it was two different guys.
You felt that maybe like mentally he was a different duck.
And that's the thing we don't get access to. Now, Brugler kind of is able, with his beast guide, we're able to fill in a little bit of gaps. But other than that, I mean, that's the big thing missing for most draft analysis nowadays, that we don't get to meet the players. Right. And those that sometimes do, it's a very candid response and very candid interviews. And so, like, it's really hard for us to factor that in because that's a big time factor. Yeah. Like, if I would have known that about Matt Corral at the time, I probably wouldn't have fallen in love with him as much.
Yeah. But then again, that can translate in two different ways to the league. You know, it could have translated to a positive where he's all in and maybe a little crazy, you know, all in on football. For him, it seems to have gone the other way. But now, as you said, he's back in the UFL. We were talking about that because I'm working a UFL game this weekend, and Max Duggan is the starting quarterback for St. Louis. And we're just like, God, these quarterbacks that get drafted and given a chance, and a lot of it is on potential, and then it doesn't.
And that's that's a guy on the flip side, high character guy, big time leader, not the skill required to be in the NFL, not the attributes.
Not emotional,
Two different ends of the spectrum.
Yep.
Okay, so since we are on the quarterback talk, I was informed by Zeph yesterday when he was going through your draft guide.
The draft guide.
And this is why I was like, oh, yeah, Zach's coming on. We got to talk about this.
Look at this.
You guys, maybe you, actually have Shador ahead of Cam.
So it's interesting because I know that you also brought up the Titans fit ratings in here because Cam Ward, for those that may not know, I do something called the Titans fit ratings. So we keep the data and the tape separate. I don't let Stoney see any of the data because I don't want that to influence what he sees on tape.
Which I love.
Yeah,
that's a great way of doing
I think that having that, since he writes the majority of the evaluations, that's really good. I can reference the data, but the data for me, because of my schedule is a little bit different, allows me to maybe focus in on players, but also help him. Like if he's at prospect 190 and I was like, maybe you should take a look at this guy. He ranks pretty high on the Titans fit ratings. That kind of helps him get us over the finish line, but we keep it separate. So we both have been big proponents since the end of the college season. We're big Shedeur Sanders quarterback one guys. And that's not to say that Cam Ward is a distant second or anything, but we have always preferred Shedeur Sanders in the terms of a lot of people say he doesn't do stuff at an elite level, and I think that's false. I just think his elite level stuff is very boring. It's like, I can accurately get the ball in the short area of the field or the intermediate area of the field or something like that.
I like
that's stuff that you have to have, but it's not flashy.
But it's not flashy.
I like how he manipulates the pocket.
Right. I
not
like
to run. His eyes are down the field, but 71.8% completion percentage.
Yeah.
Highest ever in college football.
He's threw for 4,000 yards and all this kind of stuff, and it's not a great offensive line, and he was able to do it. And so I feel like he was able to overcome a lot of stuff. So the tape to us says quarterback one. The tape to us says first round draft. Now, I know there's all the other crap that comes with Shedeur Sanders, but if you're just looking at the tape, that's where we feel. Now,
for me, I think he's going to be a good quarterback.
For me, that is mellowed. Like, it's like, okay, I'm Shedeur Sanders QB1 if I wake up yesterday and Cam Ward QB1B. And then I can wake up tomorrow and flip them because they are so close. Even though they're so different, they are so close in ability at the next level. I think this idea, and again, I go back to Tyler Shuck or Jackson Dart, the idea that the Jalen Milroe, I understand the project that Jalen Milroe is, but like, I think these are the clear two best quarterbacks in this draft. And I know there's a lot of rumors right now and a lot of smoke that Shedeur Sanders could fall to 21. I'm still going to be surprised if he's not drafted in top 10. And because I look at it and I go, how can some of these teams pass on a guy that could probably come in and be your guy right away? And I just get this feeling that he's still a top 10 quarterback. That's what the tape tells me. And now, it doesn't mean I think that he's a top 10 player because there's the quarterback draft. But I do think that, to me, I'm looking at it going, he does so many things so well. But I understand why everybody loves Cam Ward because the more we've gotten to know a lot about Cam Ward, articles, information. I remember Don and Kayla cornering me at the Christmas party, telling me, no, you don't understand. Cam Ward is legit. And I'm like, okay, chill. We're at a Christmas party.
Might have been a drink or two in that.
Yeah. And so, that's why I think all the information and more tape I've done, Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders is a lot closer than probably where I had him at the end of the season. Yeah. It's just that, Cam Ward fits more what the Titans look for according to the guide and the data. And that all makes sense. It's just from a tape standpoint, I look at Shedeur Sanders having the better tape.
Okay. Thank you for explaining because, coming in, I was like, I'm about to get Zach on this one. What's he talking about?
For those that are casually following the draft, the reason why you said 21, that's Pittsburgh, and they currently have Mason Rudolph and Skylar Thompson.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, he's definitely not falling into the second round. So I think that's definitely a load of bull crap.
I'll agree with that one, too.
Yeah.
It'll be
Do you
interesting
think
to see
it's crazy?
Sorry.
Jalen Milroe's
That's where I was going.
I think he's going second round. I think that a lot of this is just all hype.
Why he's going to show up? He's going to be sitting in the green room like Will Levis.
Listen, what does the NFL want more than anything? To make things a spectacle. Yep. So they're going to invite and have players on day 2 of the draft. They're going to their goal is to make day 2 as important as day 1.
Right. I can see that. Yep. And that's a shame.
So maybe a little conspiracy theory.
I saw
follow the money.
At the expense of them. That's
Tom Pelissero wrote today that multiple coaches and scouts told him that Jalen Milroe is the greatest runner at the quarterback spot that they have ever seen.
Oh,
ahead of Lamar.
Well, and also Vic.
What did the analytics show on that one, Zach?
Listen, I'm an Alabama fan, much to the chagrin of everybody listening right now. But
we all come from somewhere.
I get the idea that Jalen Milroe, out of all the quarterbacks outside of maybe Cam Ward, he has the most fun elite traits: the deep ball, the strength, arm strength, and the athleticism.
He's got the video game traits.
But yeah, I mean, are you trying to build a team or are you trying to play a video game? And to me, I'm like, I could see the Steelers doing it just because Shedeur Sanders is already off the board and Arthur Smith preferring Justin Fields to Russell Wilson last year. So maybe he's kind of in on Jalen Milroe. But then who plays quarterback? Are you still rolling? Or are you still just hoping Aaron Rodgers comes out? And then you have Aaron Rodgers with Jalen Milroe, and I don't know how that's going to work. I mean, I don't know. It's very
That actually might work because you'd have a package for Milroe.
Yeah.
And let him run around. I mean, as an Alabama fan, in SEC games, 5 touchdowns, 10 interceptions last year.
Yeah.
So there are concerns.
Not good.
But somebody's going to think, man, there's some things I can do with this guy package-wise. And, he'll go in the second at worst. So,
yeah.
That's going to be tough.
Going to be fun.
It's going to be interesting.
StackingTheInbox.com.
That's correct. StackingTheInbox.com, Saturday from 11 a.m. on till the Titans make the last pick. You can hear me and Stoney discuss the prospects that are in this behemoth as well. So there you go.
Appreciate that.
Give me that. I want to look at it during the break here.
It's pretty thick.
He gave you one. He gave you one online.
I know, but I'm like Stoney. I like the physical.
I mean,
you guys know I got handwritten notes for everything.
I'm the same way. I don't need to be coming at you about anything like that.
Look at this. This is beautiful.
I'd rather have the physical thing in my hand, too.
Color-coded.
Cover 2 is going great, man. Y'all sound great.
Thank you.
And you've done a great job of covering the NFL draft.
Well, we appreciate it. It's been fun. This is a dream. I'm just living life every day. I wake up and just loving it.
Keith Bullock is going to come in. We'll get his. But Blaine's draft story is great.
Yeah.
He got so tired of waiting that he went to the library to study. He was at the library when he got drafted.
That's awesome.
Oh, you got pictures and everything.
Oh, listen to her.
Yeah.
You need pictures in this thing?
I mean, is there any ink left in the printer?
I don't know. I had to go to Staples for that one.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Zach Lyons at the Zach Lyons 1-3 cover 2 along with Blaine Bishop weekdays on 104.5 The Zone. StackingTheInbox.com. Check it out. And you'll be glad that you did. Thank you, Zach. Good to see you.
Thank you guys.
Wide receivers, baby.
All right. Jim Wyatt is trying to take off to go to Green Bay. We may check in with him for a few minutes when we come back. Stay tuned as we continue to cover the NFL draft. 3HL 104.5 The Zone. Man, we've had so much rain lately. I've got the company for you, United Structural Systems. If you're worried about foundation repair and waterproofing, speaking of waterproofing, maybe you've got standing water in your crawl space, musty odors, cracks in the basement floors, hardwood floors that are cupping. Your house may be trying to tell you something. Putting off a moisture issue in your home is bad for your health and could lead to more expensive repairs down the road. When it comes to large home repairs, a lot of times we homeowners pretend that we don't see the warning signs. We're afraid of what we're going to hear. This is especially true with waterproofing and foundation repair. It could be something big that needs to be fixed. It could be a small problem now that will become bigger, or could be nothing. Bottom line, you don't know, and you certainly don't want to be sold something you don't need. You need peace of mind, and United Structural Systems is the company to give you that. More than 30,000 100% satisfied residential customers. Check them out. Homeowners trust USF's. Keeping homes dry and stable, we guarantee our best. Call USF 615-488-7855. That's 615-488-7855. USS serving Middle Tennessee, Southern Kentucky, and Western Kentucky. Online at USSTN.com.
Two Rivers Ford announces employee pricing for everyone. Every tradesman, every dad, every rising star. You pay what we pay. Two Rivers Ford. Locally owned. American made.
Whether you're a homeowner creating your dream space or a pro managing multiple projects, discover a new way to shop at Ferguson Home, where great ideas become stunning spaces. Ferguson Home is designed for the way you want to shop. Explore the best selection of bath, kitchen, and lighting products online, or experience items firsthand in one of our showrooms. Our experts offer personalized support every step of the way. Bring your vision to Ferguson Home, where it all comes together. Shop top brands like Hinckley or find your local showroom at fergusonhome.com.
3HL 104.5 The Zone.
FanDuel is thieves.
Slay hit the parlay last night, but then they went back and changed the rebound off Jokic. So
only on FanDuel, though, not on the official stats. Yeah, I'm looking on the NBA.com right now.
There's got to be a number to call. Right, Babs?
Well, that's not the one he needs to call, though.
I told Slay.
Well, actually, it is the one he needs to call.
I turned on the NBA game last night, and it was Knicks minus 6.5, and that was the bet on covers. And I was like, they just ran away with game one, so they're going to come back. So then I found you can bet on who has the lead, like who has the lead at the first 10 points. So I took the Knicks. And it was 6-6. Then it was 8-6 Knicks. And then the Pistons came down and hit a 3 to make it 9-8. And then Brunson went down and hit some crazy layup to get to 10. I was like, winner. I'm already done. I'm already done here. I don't have to watch the rest of the game.
And NBA.com has it down for 11.
Yeah, they changed it.
Wow.
Just when you think you win, you don't.
Dang.
Florida.
I'm done for the show, y'all.
There's some games going on right now.
I got them. I already got
Major
them
League
bet.
Baseball.
Oh, no.
Plus, you got hockey playoffs, Mr. Hockey Better.
Let me bet on that deal.
Mike Norvell, Florida State coach, did an interview with Ian Rappaport and those guys, talking about his team and his draftable guys. But at the end, they asked about a guy that he probably don't want to see anymore.
Last thing for you, Mike, before we let you go, there's always guys, too, on other teams that maybe you're happy you're not facing anymore. You can just turn on the TV on Sundays and watch it. Anybody you're glad you're never going to have to face in a college game again?
I think he's pretty well talked about, but Cam Ward is a heck of a football player, and he's gonna have a great future, there at the next level. And I mean, just to see the things that he was able to accomplish this last year, you got a lot of respect for him, and just what he was able to do throughout his career, but especially this last season.
Jim Wyatt joins us from where are you? BNA?
I'm at BNA. Yep.
Where are you flying into?
Second home, Jimmy.
Flying into Milwaukee and then having to drive up to Green Bay. Green Bay's not an easy place to get to.
It is not. How long is that drive?
A couple of hours.
Man,
not bad.
That sucks when
good. No, don't have any snow, so that's good.
That sucks when the drive after the plane ride is longer than the plane ride.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Well, it's finally almost here. The conglomerate of Tennessee Titans hierarchy met with the media today, and they said that they will pick at number one. No big surprise there, right?
Yeah, no surprise, and I think that's good. I mean, if you're going in the draft and you're talking about, hey, we'd love a trade, that means you haven't really, committed to a player and not at the point where you're in love with the player. So that's kind of where the Titans are right now. Sam, how you doing? I'm seeing my man Sam Wigger come through here at the airport, so I had to give him a shake. So if you know that that you like a guy and you're going to stick and pick, I think that's the message you want to get out there. We're sold on this guy, and we're going to pick him. And I think you guys have maybe figured out maybe who that player could be, and I guess we'll see if that becomes official tomorrow night.
I mean, literally the worst NFL draft secret ever.
So well, now some other years where it's been pretty clear. I mean, there have been some years where it's gotten out there that the players have already started talking contract with the team.
That is true. That is true.
But it was a process to get here, obviously, and it started way back
in history.
At the combine, and then going to the pro day, and then a private workout, and bringing to town. I think during the course of that process, they've learned that this is a really good player and a really good kid, and certainly did a lot of homework on other people as well. So. You never know what can happen through the draft process. I think that's why they've kind of waited to the very end to be sold on this. But that certainly seems like the direction things are going.
0 to 100% chance, okay, that they trade down from 35 to acquire another top 100 pick.
Yeah, I don't know that. I mean, because I think a lot of that depends on how things go in front of them and who's there. If you've got a grouping of players that you have rated, close to one another, then yeah, it makes sense to move back a little bit and get extra picks. But if you've got a guy that's sitting there and he's ranked above everybody else, it's not even close, and maybe you stick and pick him. I do think the scenario of sticking and picking, moving back is greater than moving up, which is a question certainly a lot of people seem to be presenting. I'd love to get back in the first round and get somebody, but you just talk about what you have to give up, and that's where I'm skeptical about that part of it.
I wonder in that scenario what that pick might be, like what the target might be. Somebody like a James Pierce Jr. or something like that, maybe, like an edge guy.
Yeah, I mean, I think a receivers, and I don't know what the receivers are looking like at that point.
Right.
That intrigues me, and then edge rushers obviously intrigue me. So I'm curious myself. Yeah, I know who's been in the building. I know some of the guys that the team has looked at, and but the thing is all these guys, you know, when you're talking first, second round, they've got teams across the league that are interested in them, and it's just a matter of who can make the move.
You know what's going to be fun is, and you brought this up a few weeks ago, after the first round happens and like Cam Ward does his media stuff and all this stuff, that whole night to think about what happens at 35 and to look at the players available. And like, I love this
and to
draft.
talk to teams.
Yes, I love the way this draft is set up. And then going into that fourth round where you have the first fourth round pick, you know, like I think this is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it will. And yeah, you're right. The Titans are in that position twice, you know, with the second round and then the fourth round, the very first pick. So that's where you could get some action. I mean, teams that certainly want to get aggressive, and that's where you can pick up some extra picks, and it'll be fun to see how some of that stuff plays out.
Jimmy, did you think that them Borgonzi, Brinker, and Brian Callahan all being in agreement that we will be drafting to not need necessarily, but best available? Did that ring any bell with you, or you kind of already expected that?
No, I mean, I definitely always hear that. I mean, you hope you can be in a position to do that. I do think what this team did in free agency, and Mike Borgonzi talked about that too, maybe gave them a little bit of flexibility. You're not desperate for an old lineman. You're not desperate maybe at some other positions. But I do think the Titans are in a spot where they got to get a receiver and they got to get an edge. And I think, I don't know. I mean, it sounds great to get best player available, but I do think if it's close, you've got to consider going to attack the positions where you have a need. I mean, if you started a game on Sunday, you know, Calvin Ridley and Van Jefferson would be your two receivers, and then you've got some other guys like Bryce Oliver and Mason Kinsey, and you know, other players that are in the mix there, but they need help at receiver and need help at edge rusher. They've added a couple of guys this year, but you know, losing Harold Landry certainly fills a void, and they need to be better at getting after the quarterback.
Two things. Two things. It's a wild scene where you are. I don't know what's going on there, but
they got a couple of kids playing some hopscotch, and I didn't mention Traylon Burks because I don't know what the status could be like. I mean, he's coming off a very serious injury, and
there's no way he's ready, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to take him a while before he's even back in practicing, so they'll be careful with him. So yeah, that's a great unknown there as well.
Keith, you'll like this one, Slay. Keith on YouTube. Burks needs more help, wide receiver at 35.
Absolutely. Now we're starting to get it. Now we're starting to get it.
Hey, so what's your go-to place at the, Slay loves the, what's it called?
Voodoo Donuts.
Voodoo Donuts, yes. What's like your go-to place at B&A?
That's a good question. I'm usually usually try to eat before I get here, and I did that today too. I guess since they've got, I hate to say it, Chick-fil-A's boring. I go to Chick-fil-A for breakfast if I'm cutting it close to get a chicken biscuit, and then I can't say that I have a go-to place. They did put a pharmacy burger in here.
They did, yeah,
a couple of times, which is good over in East Nashville, but can't say that I'm committed to any one particular place.
So you mentioned Chick-fil-A. We were just talking with Tyler from 103.3. He's from Wisconsin, and I remember this, Babs, at Mall of America at Chick-fil-A, they have an extra sauce that they don't have down here, and it's like garlic, it's like beer cheese or something like that. Mm-hmm. It's like a cheese sauce at Chick-fil-A. So you'll be able to get that in Milwaukee.
Okay, I may need to try that in addition to some cheese curds, maybe.
Yes.
Yeah, Slay's out on cheese curds.
Yeah.
Tyler tried to explain to him what they were, and he wasn't impressed. So, anyway, yeah, it's man, it's going to be fun. So many needs too. All right, I'll do this again. 0 to 100% chance that Will Levis gets dealt.
Oh man, that's a tough one. I mean, I hate to have my name attached to it as well, just because I know, Mike and Chad and Brian were presented with that question today, and the way Mike Berganzi answered it was that Will's on the roster and he's a developing quarterback. I can't help but wonder what the dynamic would be like with Will and a number one overall pick at his position compared to Will being in a room with Mason Rudolph and Trevor Siemian, which was the case last year. I mean, so the dynamic would change, and while I wonder how Will would react to it, I also would be somewhat nervous about just discarding him and then having him go on somewhere else and develop and turn out to be a good player. I mean, because
that could happen.
Yeah, because I think Will is very talented. I think he's a good kid. I think he works his butt off. He obviously has had some injuries, and he's made some mistakes that are inexcusable, and that's put the team in the position it is in right now to be zeroing in on drafting another quarterback. But when I watch Will at practice or watch him in pregame, and I watch him in games, some of the throws he makes, some of the stuff he's able to do, it's he's pretty unique, but he just has made just too many mistakes, and eventually some guys get over that and don't press so much. So I don't know. I would want to give him a little bit more time, but I also wouldn't want the dynamics in that room to hinder anyone else either. So that's a very tough scenario.
Yeah, very well done and very fair. Appreciate you, man. Safe travels, and we'll talk soon.
Have fun.
Okay, sounds good.
Thanks, Jimmy.
Good week. Thank you.
All right, there he is, Jim Wyatt. Nice of him to do that from the airport at Jay Wyatt Sports. That's a wild place, the airport, sometimes.
All right, I love it.
You know I do.
Yeah,
I go early.
Yeah, you in there. I think a good thing about that Will Levis thing is I think that's going to happen. Given the
that he's going to get traded.
I would love it.
I mean,
for
even
him.
if he didn't get traded, got cut, whatever, I think he's going to go on and have a pretty good career. It's just going to have to land somewhere where somebody has patience with him and able to taper or tame that.
The wild?
Yeah, what is it? I don't even know what it is. It's him.
Emotions.
Yeah, the motions.
What's going to have to happen is that he's going to have to get right between the ears.
Right.
Mentally, and he's going to have to step back and understand that he needs to take advice from veterans and listen to people that have been around longer than he has and understand that he doesn't have all the answers, and that's okay.
There you go.
And that, to me, is a little bit of maturing.
It's okay to understand that you don't know what you don't know.
Way to articulate that, Babs.
Yes. When we come back, what did Mike Borgonzi say about Will Levis? We've got that for you next. 3HL 104.5 The Zone. If you are often feeling tired, lacking motivation and drive, gaining weight, or noticing a loss of muscle mass, these could all be signs of low testosterone. Don't wait. Find out at Low T Center. They make it easy to get your levels checked. It's just a simple test, and with their on-site lab, you'll get your results back right there. Low T Center, not a typical doctor's office. Their physicians specialize in treating low T with testosterone replacement therapy, or well, it's called TRT for each patient. The experts at Low T Center have more than a decade of experience helping patients, and super important, their personal treatment plans are optimized for each patient. These are not just these are not just basic standard treatments. For current patients, Low T Center offers you a $150 referral credit for each new patient that you refer. And at Low T Center, you can also get your health evaluated for treatment with prescription GLP-1 weight loss medications. So get back to being your best. Go to lowtcenter.com to book your appointment today. That's lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
What's happening, everybody? Listen, the car accidents happen. They do. And you got to have somebody that you can lean on, somebody that you can call. Who is it? Who is it for you? I know who it is for me. I say I got this number stored in, not only in my phone, but in my head. 615-242-9000. That's automatically embedded in me because I know who's going to fight for me, and that's Bart Durham Injury Law. I call my folks over there, Blair and the team, and what do? Just fight. Yeah. Gloves on. Or guess what? I know Blair, and if they got to take the gloves off, you know what? I'm going to leave that alone. I'm just letting you know the people fight, and they've been doing it for Tennessee over all these years, so why would they change now? Making sure insurance companies pay up. No upfront costs, no waiting around, just real people making sure you get what you deserve. So if you've been injured in a car accident, knowing that it can throw off everything in life, whether it be your job, your bills, your peace of mind, get you a peace of mind with BDIL. Bart Durham Injury Law at 615-242-9000. They're here 24/7 and ready to fight for you.
Started way back in history with Ed Rock MCA and me, Brent D. That's what I used to say.
Nice.
Beastie Boys. I know it's Tupac Tuesday. And so I referenced this song in the last segment. I don't know if anybody caught it. Slay
I didn't
caught
catch it.
Slay caught it. Because Slay always just shakes his head when I go music reference. But I go to Zeph in his ear, and I'm like, Zeph, Paul Revere by the Beastie Boys next. And he goes, it's Tupac Tuesday. And I go, I know, but I want to hear it. So there you go. Beastie Boys. Keith Bullock coming in at 4 o'clock till whenever he gets tired of us.
Love it.
Bully, 2-time All-Pro. You know what's weird about him? He was twice first-team All-Pro, which is really hard to do. That means you're the best at your position, right?
Mm-hmm.
Way harder than a Pro Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
He 2-time first-team All-Pro, 1-time second-team All-Pro, only 1 Pro Bowl. That was in an era where Titans players were getting dissed by the Pro Bowl, like consistently.
Well, dissed by the country.
Yeah, voting and all that.
Yeah,
you're right.
everybody.
You're right.
Yep.
615-737-1045. It is NFL Draft Eve. We have rumors and rumblings around the draft that we'll hit you with from time to time during the course of today's show. Jimmy mentioned Mike Borgonzi talking about Will Levis today. Mike Borgonzi, Brian Callahan, and
Chad Brinker.
Chad Brinker met with the media today. Borgonzi talking about Will Levis and his fit in their quarterback plan.
Yeah, Will is, a quarterback, in our room. And, he's still developing. He's a young quarterback. He's had some good moments. And like any other young quarterback, they're continuing to develop.
Dynamite drop-in money at broadcast school has really paid off.
I mean, Borgonzi,
Talk about saying nothing.
You're getting that question today. I want to hear that again. Let's go. He is a quarterback in the Titans room. That is definitely true.
Yeah, Will is, a quarterback, in our room. And, he's still developing. He's a young quarterback.
He's a young quarterback.
He's had some good moments. And like any other young quarterback, they're continuing to develop.
All right.
Do you think he fumbled there?
Wow.
When he fumbled there after he's a quarterback, he almost said for now.
I think what that cut just told you is they are definitely trying to get rid of him. And maybe get rid of him is not a great way to say that, but move him. How about that? Yeah.
Yeah, but if you're going to move him, wouldn't you want to talk about how great his potential is and whatever else? I don't think so.
It's kind of hard to lie about that because.
Can we hear it one more time? This is Borgonzi talking about Will Levis, and he says factual things.
Yeah, Will is, a quarterback, in our room. And, he's still developing. He's a young quarterback. He's had some good moments. And like any other young quarterback, they're continuing to develop.
He's a quarterback in our room.
And he's a quarterback, just like all young quarterbacks. We'll continue to develop.
I know the Boston.
See you, bye.
The Boston thing is way different than the New Orleans thing, but hearing Borgonzi say quarterback today made me think of Mike Detillier, who is an NFL draft guy down in New Orleans that we use a lot. That's going to come on the show tomorrow at 3 o'clock. And he says quarterback.
Quarterback.
And Detillier is great. But, he's a quarterback in the room. He's a young quarterback. He's done some good things.
Yes.
That was awesome.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, Zeph has 17 bits of audio for us to use today, and I don't imagine a scenario where we'll hear one better than that.
That did it for you, huh?
Yeah. I mean, we just listened to it 3 times.
He's a quarterback in our quarterback room?
Yeah.
He's in our quarterback room.
Trying to find something for him.
Trying to find something for him. We know Cam Ward is going number 1 overall, but which quarterback will be second? Which quarterback will be second? So you've got
ain't no question, man.
You've got 9 New Orleans. All of a sudden, we find out that Derek Carr may miss the entire season. You've got 21 Pittsburgh Steelers. You've got the potential of somebody trading back into the first round if things fall right. So does one go in the first round? Does Cam and Shador go in the first round? Does Cam, Shador, Jackson Dart, and Jalen Milroe all go in the first round?
No way.
No way. No to 4.
No way to 4.
So if I put it at 3.5, you would definitely not go over.
No.
You would go under.
I would go under.
I'll bet it's 2.5. I haven't looked at, I'm not that much of a degenerate to look at NFL draft bets, but I would guess that the over-under for quarterbacks in the first round is 2.5.
Yeah, it'll be under.
You'd still go under?
It's Shador and it's done.
I go over.
You think
Dart?
3?
Mm-hmm.
I just think they're talking Dart up, man.
I think the Steelers have to. I mean, they've got Mason Rudolph and Skylar Thompson in their quarterback room.
Aaron Rodgers.
What is...
Right. Is he in a cave? Where is he?
I don't know. What is he doing?
I don't even know if anybody cares.
What is he doing?
What's that drug he does that's really weird, the hallucinogen
Ayahuasca.
thing? Yeah, that. Is he doing that, you think?
Probably got a little bit of left over in the system or something. But I don't think anybody even cares like what he's doing right now, except Pittsburgh. Everybody else, ain't no other teams talking about him. Yeah,
he has to be going to Pittsburgh, right?
Yeah, this man crazy.
I mean, it makes me want. Like, so if he goes to Pittsburgh, I could see them maybe in the second round getting Milroe, just to have that change of pace and let him come out there and run around
and groom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I could see that. That might be a good position for him.
Dang, they take 2 quarterbacks with their first 2 picks.
Some people are talking about the Giants not going quarterback at 3, but trading back into the first round to pick up Shador or Jackson Dart late in the first round. I think you could see a scenario where somebody comes back in.
Yeah. I mean, because you have to remember, I mean, the teams that are quarterback needy, it's not like there's a bunch floating around at this point. Like, these are your options. I mean, Kirk Cousins, but all the reports are that the asking price is just stupid.
Always has
been. And, of
been.
course, they just signed, who did they sign?
Easton Stick.
Stick, yeah. The Falcons did. So what are they doing with Kirk? They're hoping there's a suitor.
That is.
That's a hell of a name, man. Especially if you go last name first, you know?
Yeah,
Stick Easton.
Yeah, Freeze Easton. Freeze Easton.
Did y'all ever play freeze tag when you were a kid?
Hell yeah. And that ain't red light, green light.
The chat said Dart is this year's Levis.
Dude,
Dart may go first round, man. Dart may go first round.
Whoever does, they're going to regret it.
Maybe.
I can't wait for them to do it. I want them to feel what I felt, having to pull over on the side of the road. Get them. Go get Jackson Dart.
615-737-1045.
Make us proud, the NFL community.
You can watch the show live, YouTube, Facebook Live, Twitter, and Twitch.
Twitch, please.
And there are a lot of people watching on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
I always forget to
I gotta give a shout out.
Punch the like button. You usually remind me.
What, like button?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you always supposed to hit it.
Yeah, shout outs presented by your mom and him.
Man, been a minute, man. Shout out to our guy James Strong, man, former Vanderbilt player, coached at Belmont, coached at Vanderbilt. Took over the job at Davidson Academy, man. So,
cool.
Love. Yeah, head coaching job. First gig, man. Should have been some other places, but other people dragged their feet.
Combo guard. He had big shoulders.
Man.
He'd get up into you.
Yeah, man. And that bounce. Come off them feet, too, and put you in that rim. James Strong. They're a great group, man. So
love it.
My guy, yeah.
All right, Keith Bullock coming up. Stay tuned. 3 John 1045 The Zone. I want to tell you about my friends at Brentwood Jewelry, Salem Amamali, and the crew. They are ready to help you out for any of your gifting responsibilities throughout the course of the year, and you have many. And you've got potentially some coming up. So get with these guys, get to know them, and they will be able to help you out with any of your gifting responsibilities. BrentwoodJewelry.com is the website. Brentwood Jewelry here to help you pop the question. Let them help you take the stress out of selecting the perfect engagement ring. They can help you find a beautiful ring in your ideal budget. Browse their incredible selection of one-of-a-kind rings or talk with their custom design specialists to create a stunning ring as remarkable as your loved one. If you haven't already heard, Nashville's premier timepiece dealer, Brentwood Jewelry. Not only do they have the best selection of watches, but they are also the go-to spot for pre-owned Rolexes, vintage and current models. Own a fine pre-owned Rolex for a fraction of the cost. Every watch has been meticulously serviced to ensure the highest level of performance and is presented with a 2-year warranty. 7012 Church Street in the heart of Brentwood, just off Franklin Road. They have the ability to take care of any of your jewelry needs. BrentwoodJewelry.com. Exceptional style, exceptional deals every day for more than 50 years. Again, BrentwoodJewelry.com.
Good afternoon. It is 4 o'clock. I'm Joe Spadano, live from the 104.5 The Zone studios. Several teams around the NFL are back in their buildings today, including the Titans, who met with the media earlier today ahead of the NFL draft, where Mike Borgonzi talked about if the Titans know what they want to do with the number 1 pick.
Yeah, no, we've come to a consensus. The entire organization is to stay at that pick, and I guess you'll find out Thursday night who we pick.
In other NFL news, 49ers quarterback Brock Purdy has arrived with his team for voluntary offseason conditioning, according to Ian Rappaport, as the two sides continue to have conversations about a contract extension. However, star tight end George Kittle will not be in attendance, as his contract extension is not close to being done. Tennessee baseball is looking for a bounce back tonight as they host Lipscomb at Lindsey Nelson Stadium. First pitch for that one at 5 p.m. For every foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you need to visit USSTN.com. Bring news at once on your home for the Titans and Balls. This is 104.5 The Zone.
HL 104.5 The Zone. Brent Doherty with you on a beautiful day in the Music City. Hope you're having a great Tuesday. NFL Draft Eve. You can watch the show live, YouTube, Facebook Live, Twitter, and Twitch.
Twitch, please.
Don Davenport's here, y'all.
Let's go.
What up, Babsy?
What up?
What up, Doe? Let's go.
There she is, the lady in black.
Yeah.
Slay Dog is here, hydrating.
You got me. You got me because I was drinking water, so.
Hydration. Salivation.
Gotta have that good hydration. I'm back on my water. I'm back on my water for everybody out there wondering.
I saw that.
Yeah.
That's a big jug of Essential.
Yeah, I went to Sam's just say shout out to the listeners in Sam's, man. Ran across a few. What's up, y'all?
You think they're still there?
No, they was coming out when I was coming in. So.
Bully is here. Keith Bullock.
What up, Bully?
What's the word?
What up, man?
It's been a minute.
So
It's been a crazy offseason.
It's been live.
Crazy offseason. Crazy season. 3 wins.
Pick.
What? Oh. I thought you put your hand up.
I did to Zach.
Sorry, we were having a conversation.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I got get out of my ear.
So, for those that don't know, you will be announcing the Titans' second-round pick on Friday in Green Bay. How did you find out that you had been chosen to do that? And what was your reaction?
That is a good story. That is actually funny. Josh Corey, one of the few that I still know over there.
Yeah.
Because they cutting my people left and right. Mike Keefe got the memo. Mike Keefe is like, I'm out of here. You're not getting me.
This is how you start.
I'm telling y'all right now, man. Y'all what?
This is how you start.
What?
Bully is here, baby. Let's go, Bully.
What did I tell you back in the day?
So
you want truth. You would go put the microphone in Bully's face.
Like the story, like Josh Corey called me, right?
Corey, yes.
But Robbie Bourne would have normally called me.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So look, they let my people, you know. Shout out to Josh, shout out to Robbie, Brent, Anthony, you know, all the good guys. But yeah, so Josh called me and was like, yeah, Miss, you know, the 25th year of the Titans, Miss Amy, you know, would like for you to go to Green Bay and do the draft if you could. So I'm like, yeah, that's dope.
Yeah.
We got the first pick. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh, you thought it was first pick?
like, we got the first pick, and then Josh is like, yeah, so on Friday night, you'll do the second pick and maybe the third pick. And I'm like, who's doing the number 1 pick? Eddie's coaching. You know what I mean? I was like, it might be that we're taking Cam Ward and they're going to have Warren Moon. You know, I'm doing it. But the commissioner does the first pick.
Yeah.
Commissioner does first pick.
Commissioner does
I like how
first pick.
optimistic Corey is that they could get back up in the second round. You could do multiple picks.
No, for sure. Well, it didn't always be the commissioner doing the first round because VY did the first round and announced Honor Landry. So I just got to outdo my boy.
Well, that
I hope I get like John Smith or somebody like that.
That won't be hard.
So how was your draft day? Where were you? How did you consume that day?
I hated the draft. I hated the whole draft process because it's a hoax, right? Because at the end of the day, someone like me who, like, look, my draft class, you had LeVar Arrington, Brian Urlacher, Julian Peterson, John Abraham, Rob Morris. Those are the first 5 linebackers that was the 6th linebacker. Well, John Abraham was a hybrid. He was a DN outside linebacker. So that affected me as well. So I was the number 30 pick, so second to last pick, and I didn't get drafted till like 6 p.m. And the draft started at...
Were you at home?
At noon. Yeah, I was at home.
So
I was at my brother's house.
You had a bunch of people over?
I was at my brother's house. We had a bunch of people over.
Why are you laughing?
Because, man, it just takes me back. You got people like, you sitting there, you're sweating, like whatever personal feelings you're having inwardly, no one knows outwardly.
Right.
And my whole thing is, like, we had, from Syracuse, 4 first-round draft picks in a row. So I'm about to be the 5th. So when I didn't get drafted by Green Bay, because when I didn't get drafted there at 14 or San Francisco, I'm like, dang, the Jets had 4 picks. So I'm like, I could stay at home.
Yeah.
Wrong. So
did you like the Giants or the Jets growing up?
Giants.
All
my friends that liked the Jets growing up came to school upset on Mondays. I promise. They have Freeman McNeil, Ken O'Brien, Al Toon, Mark Gastineau, like, the guys, but we not. Nah, ain't no gangrene. Ain't no gangrene. I don't think the Jets were good in my lifetime until Bill Parcells was like the coach there. And I think that was like with Darrelle Revis and Bart Scott and all that. Anyway, my draft story, to sum it up, it got to about 4 o'clock, pick maybe 24, and the Saints called me and was like, has anyone called you? I'm like, no. They're like, okay, we're going to take you with the first pick of the 2nd round. And then I was instantly tight. I didn't tell anybody. I went to the bathroom. Yeah, I was indisposed, doing a number 2. And then Jeff Fisher calls me, and he's like, yo, Jeff Fisher, Tennessee Titans.
What are you doing, KB?
Yo, and then he was like, I promise, I'm sitting on the toilet. Because my stomach was all, what I'm saying? So,
I can't imagine.
So he's like, we're going to, all right, well, stick by the phone, stick by the TV. We're going to take you with the first pick. So now I'm like, I'm elated. Now I come out there, I don't even think I washed my hands. And it's funny because I have a picture of, like, coming out of the bathroom, coming down the hall, and like I'm high-fiving my brother. So I probably did not wash my hands. I don't even know if I went, but I know that's where I was. Because I looked at it like, yo, they're doing it to me all day, so that's a true story, bro.
So were you on the speakerphone in the war room, like sitting on the toilet, or was it just him?
It was just the phone in my hand. I think,
was it just him? Or
yeah, I mean, they were where they were. You know what I mean? And then the next day, they flew me in. Me and Schwartz went to Ruth Chris right here on West End. They sent me back. I went back the next day, but then, like, we got here like maybe the first week in May. And we're here like the first week in May until June like 24th. And this is Nashville in 2000, where Shoney's was across the street from the Millennium Maxwell House. So it's like...
Yeah. You weren't used to that.
Man, we're going to the facility. We're going to the facility, right back to the Millennium Maxwell House. I remember I had an autograph signing at the old Hickory Hollow Mall.
Yeah.
It was not what I expected as being a first-round draft pick in the NFL.
But where they take you right at that point for the city, that was doing it.
Yep.
Like
Back then it was.
You telling me in 2000 we can get an NFL first-round draft pick at the Hickory Hollow Mall?
Yeah.
I'm going to meet y'all out there. And the whip going to be clean. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's pulling everybody out. That's where the city, that just lets you know how much the city done grown now, man.
Yeah, and
that's
like,
crazy.
I definitely.
Shoney's in Hickory Hollow Mall.
Yeah, I definitely grew. I grew with the city because now it's like these guys don't even know how good they have it. Because after a game on Sunday, like say in 2008, after a game on Sunday.
Yeah, what were you doing?
We're going to go to my man.
TGI Fridays?
Rest in peace, Doug Crow. He used to have the corner pub right here. So we go to the corner pub. He'll have the little back out, sectioned off for us. We go to the corner pub. Then you got to wait till about 10:30, 11 o'clock till like something open on. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
That's wild, man.
And then, really, when I first got here, my rookie year was Silverados and Outer Limits.
Outer Limits, boy.
Yes.
Ooh, that's a cool
Prism,
drive about that Prism.
Palladium,
Yep.
all that.
Take us back, Bullock. Take us back. Red carpet, all that. Like, that was it.
That's why I am officially the voice of the streets and the people.
No question. There's no question.
Silverados.
There's no question.
That was so confusing to me because they'll be playing country music.
Yeah.
And then in like 4 songs, they hitting you with the hip hop.
Yeah.
It crossed
like,
right over.
Wow.
Right over.
No, it's still like
It
that.
worked out.
Yep.
It worked out.
It did work out.
One more Miller Lite, please.
So you mentioned Green Bay, and who else did you mention? San Francisco.
Yeah.
Anybody else call you during the first round or like pre-draft? Did you think you didn't think you were going 30?
I didn't think
Right.
I was going to Tennessee because at the end of the day, I thought I was gonna go to like San Francisco worked me out, and then Green Bay. So Green Bay makes sense because Mark Chmura actually he got into some trouble maybe a couple of weeks before the draft. The tight end for the Green Bay Packers, he was their All-Pro tight end at the time. So then they end up picking Bubba Franks in the first round, and they picked Niall Diggs in the second round. So had that not happened, I could have possibly, gone to Green Bay and possibly won the Super Bowl. But no, let me stop.
Well,
Yeah, we were close.
Hey, you always had the outer limits.
Yeah.
Luciano said, I remember Bully used to hang out at the bar Losers. Fun times hanging out there.
I still do from time to time.
so do I.
I think I've seen
Very
you there.
different way.
It's kind of annoying, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I just blend in now.
So it's just funny to me, like talking about teams that worked you out and things like how different your life can be based on the decision of someone else that you have no control over.
So,
and it worked out great,
Yeah, it did, and like
you're still here.
Why I said it, like I don't really like. It's good for some people, but for me, in the position I was in, I was trying to move up to pass LeVar Arrington, to pass Brian Urlacher. I ran a 4.4. I jumped to 39. I did everything you were supposed to do, and it just was what it was. So that's why. You make the most of it when you get drafted. You can't put all of your eggs in, where I get drafted, because you have no control over that. The only thing you control is your pre-draft process. Then after that, you get drafted, then you show them who you are when you get there.
It's crazy. Just coming out of college, like it's such a different world for an athlete because you don't choose where you go in a lot of cases. Whereas like me, I can, there's a job open in Nashville. Let me go do that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I get to choose.
And then it's frustrating. I didn't start until my third year.
That's
so
right.
then you get here, you get to play a little bit. You make some plays here and there when you get in, but it's like
that would never happen now.
You see your peers out there on Sports Center, and I'm like, damn, I scrub. Like, you know what I mean? So to keep having that confidence to know that like you're that guy, or however you feel, an individual feels about. I knew I was that guy, but
you never got down on
chance.
yourself.
Not that far.
Yeah.
Why did it take 3 years?
Ask Jeff.
That would not happen now with the first year contracts.
No.
Those 4-year contracts, they want to maximize that thing.
Man, yeah.
Which is why Cam Ward will start from day one. NFL Draft Week is going on. Keith Bullock in studio. More next. 3HL 104.5 The Zone. 3HL 104.5, The Zone. 3HL powered by Ferguson Home. Discover the Mount Juliet showroom at 401 South Mount Juliet Road.
It's a heat road.
Ferguson Home, where it all comes together. FergusonHome.com. Tupac Tuesday. Brent Doherty, Don Davenport, Ron Slay, Keith Bullock in the house. K-Bull 53.
Yeah. You know what? It might be like what do you call it? Like an osmosis thing because, well, no, my windows are from Pella. Because I'm getting a renovation out here, Dawn. Right. And I was like, yo, so we hooked that up.
There you go.
But my guy.
I got to call Ferguson to pay for my plumbing. So I wonder, like, yo, what's going on?
Ferguson, look out.
Radio advertising works, especially when you've used people.
It's like osmosis. You don't even realize what you're doing. I call Ferguson.
I was looking at some of the players in your draft. Tennessee fans will remember, obviously, Jamal Lewis and Sean Ellis went in that draft. But I forgot about Sebastian Janikowski was in that draft.
Yeah.
A kicker in the first round taking a spot from somebody.
God,
Did he went before me or right?
Yeah, he was 17.
See?
17
as a kicker.
Okay, but
was a
did he
great
play
pick,
for
though.
like 40 years?
Yeah, that was worth it. They got their money's worth out.
Yeah.
I know, but in the moment, you're like, seriously? Like, I know he had a leg, for sure.
Look, bro, there was a lot of people that I was like, yo, this can't be serious. But whatever. This is what it is.
Whatever.
There'll be a lot of guys that feel that way in the next 3 days.
Hey, I'm glad they weren't. I'm glad they weren't inviting people to the draft thing because I lived 20 minutes from New York City. I know my brothers was like, "Come on, dog, we're going.
We're going up here.
We're going."
So, what's your thoughts on with they like this Milroe situation? They invited Milroe out.
He's going.
He's going to the draft. He accepted it. Is that
not a guaranteed first round guy?
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, is this a setup for the story, for the eyes to be on, more little controversy coming out of it, or what?
Before you answer, Bully, the latest odds for how many quarterbacks are taken in the first round, 2.5.
I knew that would be the number. Yeah.
For the gamblers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Over,
I knew that would be the number.
Over is -135, under +105. Those are the latest today.
I don't even gamble, and I'm not taking that.
Yes. But all that to say, 2.5. So, I mean, Cam's going for first, and then there's Shador, there's Jackson Dart, and there's Milroe, and Milroe's going to be sitting there.
So I'll say what I did learn last year, because there were some guys that knew they it wasn't Will Levis.
No,
but there
was a photo.
Somebody knew they weren't going to get drafted in the first round and just went for the experience. So
I forget who that was. That is true, though.
Yeah, if Milroe is going for that, then cool. The NFL wants the former college stars that are going into their league to be there. It's a good look. There's some nostalgia for, Alabama people to see Jalen Milroe there. So as much face time as they can give them, they'll do it. But whoever thinks they want to draft Jalen Milroe in the first round, they need to be prepared to look for a new job the next year. Like, straight up.
That's what I'm saying.
Because, look, my example is Anthony Richardson.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, to me,
you literally said that about Anthony Richardson before the draft last year. I remember having that conversation with you.
For me, I'm glad I don't have to do this because it's simple to me because I've seen it. Like, the whole situation with, like, just the Titans GM and all that. So, when I was here, Floyd Reese was the GM. Mr. Underwood was the guy right before Mr. Adams, right? So now you just see like the
you knew what everybody did.
Yeah, you see the changing of the guard. So, I'll never forget, and it's funny, like, it seems like, so this is just new, as Titans, and I root for the Titans, whatever they do. If they're doing something new, let's see how it works. Borgonzi, Chad Brinker, then you have my man Reggie McKenzie, who when I was coming out was with the Raiders. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then the other gentleman. So it's by committee. And I hope it works out. It should work out because it seems like it's going to work out. But I feel that you're going to have what happens in that situation where we saw Vrabel like, yo, after they traded A.J. Brown. Because someone has to make that final decision. And what I do know is that Floyd Reese ended up, like, he got out of here however it fired, moved on, however it worked, because he and Jeff weren't seeing eye to eye on picks. Yeah. Like, so at the end of the day, I don't care who's running the show. you're going to have to see eye to eye. And look, I really like Callahan. I only heard like 5 minutes, the first 5 minutes of like the what let's call them the three horsemen, or I don't know, like the big three, the big three, the big three, the big three. We heard from the big three, and Callahan. Why does Koharski get to ask the first question?
Yeah, I thought it was supposed to be Teresa, wasn't it?
Well, I don't know who was. I didn't know there was an order.
Okay.
But
that was a Vrabel thing.
Vrabel used to allow Teresa
Koharski
Walker.
Jumped in front of Teresa. No, I'm just joking.
No, seriously, that's exactly what he did. You know it. You know it.
I was joking. But whoever asked the second question the question was about, a young quarterback. What's the process? Something about the process. And he didn't direct it to anyone. Maybe his eyes did. I couldn't see. But I like how Callahan jumped up and was like, I've done it before. Yeah. I've worked with young talent before. I know the process, so on and so forth. So that says two things, that he's very excited. It shows me he's excited they're drafting Cam Ward. He's very excited to work with them because he's, like they said, they went to the house, they've been to the pro days, all these different things, put him on the board several times. And when they put you on the board, they ask you questions, like, what made you, they'll ask you questions from your season. All right, on this play, what were you thinking here? Why did you do this, right? And then they might put you in a scenario, if you see this and I tell you this, what is your thought? What is your read? So, as a coach, you can be like, oh, all right, the kid, I can get him in here and we can work with it. You know what I mean?
He's got that football IQ.
Yeah, absolutely. So that gives that confidence. And what is going to be interesting is, and I've seen this before too, we had Billy Volek. Billy Volek could have stepped in, been the starter after they locked Steve McNair out the building and they drafted Vince Young.
Yeah.
So, and it was Billy's to be the starter. But Vince Young, national champion Vince Young, super swag, all the confidence, one of the top college quarterbacks in football the year before, won the national championship.
Stupid athletic.
Up for the Heisman. Yeah. All those different things. So you go through preseason and all that stuff, camp, like Billy's 5 years above Vince. Supposedly, Vince ain't hearing that. Like, he's listening, but he knows it's his show. So when he gets his shot, he's going to take it. He's not really paying attention to Billy Volek or whoever else is there. So what do you think Cam Ward is going to be doing? We all saw the video when he and Shador are training and they talking back and forth to each other. Yeah. Will Levis can't withstand that. Will Levis doesn't want that competition. And I'm just saying that I like Will. I've met him before. I've spoken to him. I'm just saying that based off the product we saw last year. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm not saying he couldn't have gone and gotten better. And, he did that last year. As a pro athlete, that's what you do. You go and get better each year. He knows the things that he has to work on, and he's probably gotten better. But it's going to be tough when now he's maybe getting second-team reps and Cam is doing Cam stuff, air quotes, you know what I mean? And if Will Levis is doing Will Levis stuff.
Yeah, no kidding. We always talk about between the ears with Levis and how that needs to, maturity needs to come too.
You can't say, like, during the season, he threw me off when he was like, I got to recalibrate my brain. Like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? Like, hold on, I'm trying to follow you. But recalibrate, why are you thinking that way? Like, when your coach says to you, what the F are you doing?
Early in the
not
season.
In practice.
No, this is early, live, and direct.
Not in practice, like
we're talking about a game.
Because Coach Mack has done that to me, Jeff. Like, I've had that moment before, but not in the game. That's
especially by a coach who you had never really seen react yet in that manner.
Publicly, yeah.
Callie,
that just means you're not doing what I asked. Like every week, I'm confused.
We went over this.
Right.
Over and over. If it was something we wasn't going to do, this was it. And we did it anyway.
But I heard you say it, Slay. I think Will Levis can still be a good quarterback in this league, but he needs to work out whatever he needs to work out. And I ain't a quarterback guru, so I can't tell you.
Sometimes in that situation, you need a fresh start, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you need a new coaching staff. You need somebody to look at you and say, oh, your potential is off the charts. let's try that, you know?
You need to not think you know everything too.
Right.
And be coached. What do you think about, so let's say they bring Cam Ward in, they draft him. We all think they're trying to trade Will Levis during the draft, but if they don't and he's still in that quarterback room, is that a tough situation, you think?
For Will, yeah.
Yeah.
Because now,
because he's going to go into it thinking, I'm going to beat this rookie out.
No, he's not.
He's not.
He's not. I mean,
know
he
he's
should.
not good. I know
he will. Yes, he will. The competitor.
I know he's not going to, but.
But in the competitor in him, he will. I'm wrong for saying that. He absolutely will. But then, it's only a matter of time before doubt creeps in. And the only time that I really experienced that is when I played for the Giants and I tore my ACL. And this is after being a professional athlete for 11 years. It's the night before night before the game. Man, am I gonna hope my knee is all right by the morning? You pop that pill, you wake up. Well, let's go.
Yeah, it's time to get to it. You always see that. You always see that point. I think everybody reaches that point in their career too, when you don't have that bounce back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When you see them bringing somebody else in, even it might, and football may be different, but you go into your 8th, 9th year as a pro in basketball, and they bring that other guy in. I done told y'all about this plenty of times. In pro sports, and there's a guy sitting in practice. You're like, hey, man, what?
That's one of my
You're
favorite
from America.
stories.
What you doing? What you doing?
And you knew
him. Yeah, I'm like, Mike, we had a water break. I walked over there. I'm like, Mike, Hall, what you doing here, dog? He was like, man, I don't know. They brought me in here to swap out with somebody. I'm looking around like, you play the same position as me. They brought him. Nah, I know what to do. Don't even worry. Went out there and went crazy the next game where they had to continue to pay him, so he got a free vacation. Yeah. And y'all done put me against the fire, so I know what it is.
Younger and prettier, always coming.
To Slade's point, and that, when I moved to linebacker in Syracuse, my roommate, he was 2 years older than me, All-American. He was like, the rule is they can bring the baddest MF in the country, and he can't take your position.
Yeah.
So that stuck with me. Even when I got to the pros, they bring in David Thornton in. That's my guy. DT's my guy. But I know what's up. You know what I mean? They're paying him less to see if he could do, but he can't do what I can do.
Yeah.
He can't. It's just not. And it's not a knock.
No, he couldn't.
It's not a knock to DT or anything like that.
He's a great
but
dude.
that's when, you step your game up if you're that guy.
Because you start
it's
to
like,
see.
oh, okay, for real?
Yeah.
All right, watch this.
Yeah, this is where we at.
Match my intensity. Forget anything else. You know what I mean? Because you know what to do. Like Slade's talking about being a professional. As a professional, you know what to do.
Yeah. So when you see this, what you've heard from Cam, us not being able to see him up close, I don't know if you have, but when you get out there and you have a guy, like they say they don't trade Will Levis or cut him or whatever, and he's in that room, from everything that I'm hearing from Cam, I think it's going to light a fire up on the wheel to go out and prove that y'all crazy for even bringing him in here. But second, I think, man, as competitive as I hear Cam is, I think we're going to see somebody him so early, it's going to be like, that's our guy. It's nothing, you can't even fight it. You know what I'm saying?
And I think that, look, if Will Levis is on the roster still, Cam will make Will Levis better. He will raise the level of Will Levis's competition and all those things, because Will Levis is still a young guy.
Right.
You know what I mean? He still believes in himself. And at the end of the day...
They may be the same age. Are they around the same age?
Oh, that's a good question.
As athletes, we know that it don't matter what anyone else thinks as long as we have the belief in ourselves. And every time you hear Will Levis speaks, he has that belief. So that's why I feel like he can still win. But, you got the people that say, oh, draft the number one pick, and there's not a lot of, quarterback talent in this draft. But then you got the streets that say, draft Cam Ward. We got the number one pick.
Yep.
And look, Shador's not getting a lot of credit, but what you do know about Shador Sanders, he's gotten better everywhere he's been.
Yeah.
He took 94 sacks in the last 2 years. He went to Colorado the first year, they're not doing this, they're not doing that. The second year they come back, they make the playoffs or however it goes. So as an athlete, you always want to prove that you can make the plays, that you can be the guy. And unfortunately, for some people, they change the goal. They keep moving the goalposts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For example, like last year, Atlanta I think Shador should go to the Raiders. I think that's where, he's Brady time. He's a Brady guy, and I might think that's why it's been a little hush. I could be off.
Right.
But, you know,
it's been weird with him lately.
They just got Geno. That's cool, but I heard like last year, Atlanta just paid Kirk Cousins way more money, and they took, you know, Michael Penix Jr. So it's not far off to think that they would take Shedeur Sanders. So it's going to be interesting. But, you know, I think if Cam Ward is the Titans guy, I like everything that I've seen him put out there. I like the fact that he's played a lot of college football. That's what I like about Bo Nix. Michael Penix played a lot of football, too. You see these quarterbacks that have played 4 years in college. They're different than the guys of Caleb Williams. I'm not saying he's not going to be good. He's only played 2 years in college football. I don't know how long C.J. Stroud played, but, you know, he had a great first year. Didn't make the playoffs or however they went last. So you see what I'm saying? Like, you would take a second-year CJ. I like to think the Titans would take a second-year CJ Stroud season as a first-year Cam Ward season.
No question.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
So as a defensive guy, when you have watched, I'm assuming, I know you at least watched the Syracuse Miami
Yeah, for sure.
But when you see what he does on the field, what is your, as a defensive player, what's your analysis of Cam Ward?
You're never playing with Donovan McNabb, Steve McNair, Vince Young, and I played with Kerry Collins as well, Eli Manning as well, but it's like they're different style quarterbacks. Well, Eli, you just feel like you're never out of the game.
Yeah.
You know, because they could take something away, and like with Kerry, he had a big arm. You know what I mean? So he's going to get you through the game. But like when it comes down and time to make a play, they can make a play themselves or they can make a play with their arms. And also, like you said, you point out, football IQ. People talk about, Shedeur Sanders, you just throw jet passes and screens. And he knows who to throw the ball to. The quarterback's job is to get the ball to your playmakers. What do you want him to do? Throw it deep all the time?
Yeah.
And he does that pretty well, too. So it's like, at the end of the day, if you have a quarterback that knows where to go with the ball, when to take 5 yards, when to take 15, the intermediate shot, to set up the deep shot, like all of those different things go into play. And that's what I like about Cam Ward is he's made the play. We've seen him make the plays over and over. That's all.
And make the right decisions
for sure.
in certain positions. Yeah, that
Keith
makes
Bullock
sense.
in studio. When we come back, he mentioned Brian Callahan meeting with the media today. We've got a few cuts from him that we will play when we come back. 3HL NFL Draft Week. Keith Bullock in studio, 104.5 The Zone.
All right, you know we love our local sports around Middle Tennessee. Well, the local team, Legacy Group at UBS Financial Services in Franklin, has always been strong supporter of women and girls in sports. And so, you know, they like to, every Tuesday now, give a little shout out to some of our local female teams. Several great softball games coming up this week. Highly ranked Oakland and Page High School. Oakland plays Siegel tonight at 6:30. Then on Thursday, Oakland plays a home game against Rockvale at 6:30. Page against Independence tonight at 5 p.m. And then Thursday, a home game against Ravenwood also at 5 p.m. So shout out to all of our local high school softball teams that are deep in action right now. And a shout out to the Legacy Group at UBS Financial Services in Franklin. If you have $1 million or more to invest and you want to do that with a local team, call Financial Advisors Jim Candela, Brent Thompson, David Reynolds, or Robert Reynolds. 615-721-4921. That's 721-4921. See if they can help you achieve your financial goals. For their client relationship summary disclosures, visit ubs.com/relationship summary. UBS Financial Services Incorporated, member FINRA/SIPC.
What up, y'all? Get another PAI Medical. Put this number down right now, 615-376-6010. That's where you can get your laser treatments. Anything that you're looking for when it comes to closing that little sunroof up top it's probably that time, unless you want to ride top down, just shave it all off. That's the easy thing. But if you want to go out there and get full head of hair back, go to WeGrowHair.com, 615-376-6010. No one else in Tennessee has the ARTIS robotic FUE procedure. And We Grow Hair's high-density hair transplants. They give you 2 times more hair in one procedure. PRP laser treatments for busy men and women. In and out in 45 minutes. They work. They're thicker and fuller hair. Restore your hair and the confidence. Now, understand this. It's free. Your consultation, that's right. I said it is free. All you got to do is call them right now at 615-376-6010. Backed by the only company that you should trust for thinning hair. That's WeGrowHair.com. Right now, go to WeGrowHair.com, 615-376-6010. Get your free consultation right now.
Three 1045 The Zone. Brett Doherty, Don Davenport, Ron Slay, Keith Bullock in studio. You reminded me of something that I don't think I've ever asked you about. You mentioned Matt getting locked out of the building.
Yeah.
So for people that don't know, maybe you weren't here at that time. So many people moving in, obviously, since then. That was like 2005 or something.
Yeah.
I'm curious what the reaction was in the building, because the reason why that happened was he was going into the last year of his deal, or his contract was up and they hadn't redone it. That's what it was. So they said for insurance purposes, they couldn't allow him in the facility.
Yeah.
And I think that was in the CBA at that time or whatever. But anyway, he didn't know it. So he showed up and like his pass key didn't work, which is everyone's worst nightmare, right? What was the reaction inside the building with the team?
I wasn't there. Like I was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if I was there, I would have opened the door. Obviously.
Right. Oh, you mean you weren't physically there?
That's the part I was wondering. Like, who was there and saw him couldn't get in, or walked past him? It was like, Mac, you can't get in. Oh dang, I'm gonna go on in.
It
anyway.
was. It kind of like the way I remember it. Because I didn't. By that time, I wasn't coming back like to train. So Mac would come back early because he like lived here, and I was, single moving around. So I was probably coming from New York or LA or something like that. And then somehow I got, they locked Mac out of the building.
So you just heard about it.
Yeah, I heard about it. And then
like on the text chain, the group text chain.
And then I spoke, and then I obviously spoke to Mac, and then I spoke. That's what was cool about Floyd, right? Like when we got rid of, they weren't going to bring Eddie back and we drafted Pac-Man. Like I could go have a conversation with Floyd about a lot of things. Like and nothing was above a conversation, because I'm like, I just finished working out in maybe April. I'm like, hey, Floyd, it was June because we already had Pac-Man. Like, why ain't we bringing Eddie back? Like, yo, what's up? And then I walked up to his office and he was like, well, Eddie obviously is our guy, a legend, but now, things are changing, right? Now you're one of the leaders. We have whoever else we have. We got Hank, so, it's how we build. And now we're bringing in Pac-Man. How much respect do you think Pac-Man Jones is going to have? How much real respect do you think Pac-Man Jones is going to show an older Eddie George? Eddie towards the end of his career, maybe when Eddie isn't doing the same things on the football field in 2005 or 2004 when Pac, you know what I'm saying? So that's not a conversation he had to share with his player, but like those are the conversations back then I could have in that building. I could go to Schwartz and he'll be like, oh, show me some free agents when they're bringing people in. I'm like, well, I think Stephen Tulloch is better than that person. Yeah. Or I think we're good with this. It's not like they're gonna go, oh well, Keith said this. And so, but it's the fact that, you can have those conversations and, football is in the building. So when I hear them saying, oh, we want football in the building now, all right, we're gonna see. Because you got former players like 25 years, like we're watching, you know what I'm saying? It's not for us to critique or anything. We understand, like, you just can't be moving around here like people don't understand the business just because they're not in the building. That's all.
Makes sense.
You were talking about Floyd Reese and Jeff Fisher, and it's interesting to see how it all plays out with this new front office regime, right, in terms of who does what. But, man, it was clearly defined back then. Yeah. But you're right. They did start to debate players. And I remember that VY year. And Jay Cutler and Matt Leinart were coming out. And Fishbone and Floyd weren't VY guys necessarily. But one guy like Cutler, one guy like Leinart. And then once the owner said VY's my guy, that was it. But
well, the owner... The owner didn't want the Houston owner to get him. I'm not saying that Mr. Adams didn't love VY. Everybody in Houston was a VY guy. If I own a football team, let me get VY. You know what I mean? And
that performance against USC might be, because of the stage, might be the greatest single game performance in the history of college football.
Yeah, and I also think, man, it's good to see VY talking a little bit more now. I think he could have got a little more help from inside the building, but then again, he could have helped himself. You know what I'm saying? So I'll just say 50-50, could have got more help, because I've seen other players get the help I feel VY should have gotten, and vice versa, VY could have helped himself. So
when you say help, you mean like the help to make him realize, like, you can't be the last one in, first one out, like that kind of help, or more like playbook help?
I feel like that kind of falls on the individual to realize that. he had Kerry Collins. That's not on Kerry to do that. I don't know what that relationship was, but Kerry Collins, not to rehash, you can go back on your own and see how he started his career, and he ended up having a pretty solid career.
Sam Darnold's another one.
Yeah, so I would say help. Just kind of, they left him at times in unfavorable positions. You know what I mean? Where he may have had to speak for himself, where he didn't necessarily need to speak for himself. You've protected other players and spoke up for them. Protect your quarterback and speak up for him. You know what I mean? So for whatever reaction, there's a change, however that works. But, I say both. VY could have had a better career here if, both parties were and had better communication.
Yeah. Shoot, isn't that like everywhere?
Right. Every relationship, right?
Every job, every
that's
life.
That's the safe way to say that.
Yes, I got you, Bully.
So you mentioned Brian Callahan today meeting with the media and how he stepped up. This first cut is about his experience drafting at number 1.
I think one of the things unique to my journey in this profession is I've done it before too. I've been a part of a young quarterback, number 1 overall pick, coming into a team that picked number 1 for a reason. And we weren't good enough last year, so we're picking first, and we have a chance to add a really good player with the first overall pick, whatever it ends up being. But there is a lot of things that I learned from that first lesson of when you bring in a player like that, that'll help us in the process. So I think we've added the right players in free agency. I think we have good young players here. And we got to do a lot better job coaching, first and foremost, and put ourselves in some better positions. So those things to me are all part of the equation, and I feel good about where we're at and where we're headed and how we're going to get there.
He literally just said they're drafting quarterback number 1. We've done it before. I've drafted a quarterback number 1.
So that's the only thing that I heard, because I had to get out of the car, and I was like, oh, all right. He's pretty much saying, yo, I've done this before. I came in, I tried to work with what y'all gave me, but I'm used to working with first rounders. You saw it last time? Yeah. I'm a first-round quarterback guru.
Well, and we were talking about this the other day, too. It's different when you come in as a head coach. You've never done it before. You're a play caller. You haven't done that before. So everything's new to you. And then you're given this quarterback, Will Levis, right? So you're trying to marry your system, try to figure out what his strengths are. And as he said after the season, those things did not align. And that was a constant rub during the year. But they've had the opportunity to say, all right, let's do our due diligence on Cam Ward. Let's make sure he's the guy that we can move forward with. And so they did all of their research, and they're choosing him.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's a different deal.
And and this is Callahan's first opportunity as a head coach to have his guy if they're choosing.
Right.
And the way he speaks very confident in being able to get his guy. He's like, okay, cool. I got my guy, Mike. Y'all go do you. Mm-hmm. I'm with the kid. You know what I mean? And I think that, from what you just said, Brent, Callahan meeting with him, getting to know his family, all those different things gives him confidence as a coach to know, okay, I can call my stuff. I can call all my stuff, or I can call at least 30% of my stuff, because I know what Norm Chow and what Mike Heimerdinger were able to do, rest in peace, good with VY and Billy Volek, Mike Heimerdinger. That year, Billy Volek threw crazy, and him and Drew Bennett.
Couldn't believe it.
Yeah, because Billy, what do you like? What do you do good? All right, the West Coast quarterback from Fresno State. Coach, I like to throw the ball. So he threw for 300 yards 7 times. And I got to believe Callahan is young enough. He's a Madden guy. He played Madden growing up, so he has some imagination.
That's a
you understand what I'm saying? So he has some imagination. So even if he can unroll the 30% of his playbook, or maybe his thing was like, he gave him what they gave Will Levis in the beginning. Let's see how you absorb it based upon, you know what I mean? Yep. So he's had an opportunity to compare apples to apples. Let's just do that.
Yeah. Vidal on YouTube, they're not drafting Cam. Look at the body language they are, man. Just telling you.
Well, I mean, look, if they don't draft Cam.
So who is it then? Right. Shedeur?
Yeah. They're going to trade, I guess. But if they don't draft Cam and they trade for more picks, that's fine too. Just let Titans fans make up your mind. You know what I mean? Because
right. I mean, that element is still there.
True.
Yeah.
Listen, if the Giants are like, screw this, we're going to give you 3 first-round picks, you got to take 3 first-round picks.
Yeah.
Then they're moving back.
Then they're moving back.
Yeah, like make up your mind. You didn't like the product you saw last year. We need to do something about it. You wanted Sam Darnold, I think, or all these. Like, come on, like stop playing. Like you're just looking for Band-Aids. That's just Band-Aids if that's what you're doing.
Keith Bullock in studio. More draft coverage coming up. This is 3HL 104.5 The Zone.
All right, interest rates have plummeted, and so maybe it's time to call Loan Pronto. You're looking to get cash out of your home equity. We all have home equity in our homes. In this area, you can refinance out of a high rate, do a home improvement project. Loan Pronto can make it happen in a matter of days. Get tens or even hundreds of thousands out of your home equity. Pay off credit cards, pay off car loans. The average homeowner who has done this with Loan Pronto cuts their monthly bills by $1,000. Get more info. You can start the entire process online at loanpronto.com. They have multiple options that can help you achieve that financial freedom you need. Most homeowners will get their cash in less than 2 weeks, and most of them don't even need an appraisal. We did not need an appraisal when we did it. So do the smart thing. Stop paying insane rates on credit cards. Wipe them out. Start that home improvement project. LoanPronto.com or call them now, 615-499-5780. LoanPronto.com at 499-5780. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. Subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
What's happening, everybody? Listen, the car accidents happen. They do. And you got to have somebody that you can lean on, somebody that you can call. Who is it? Who is it for you? I know who it is for me. I say I got this number stored in, not only in my phone, but in my head. 615-242-9000. That's automatically embedded in me because I know who's going to fight for me, and that's Bart Durham Injury Law. I call my folks over there, Blair and the team, and what do? Just fight. Yeah. Gloves on. Or guess what? I know Blair, and if they got to take the gloves off, you know what? I'm going to leave that alone. I'm just letting you know the people fight, and they've been doing it for Tennessee over all these years, so why would they change now? Making sure insurance companies pay up. No upfront costs, no waiting around, just real people making sure you get what you deserve. So if you've been injured in a car accident, knowing that it can throw off everything in life, whether it be your job, your bills, your peace of mind, get you a peace of mind with BDIL. Bart Durham Injury Law at 615-242-9000. They're here 24/7 and ready to fight for you.
Good evening. It is 5:01. I'm Joseph Milano live from the 104.5 The Zone studios. Several NFL teams are back in the building today, including the Tennessee Titans, as Mike Borgonzi, Chad Brinker, and Brian Callahan met with the media to talk about the NFL draft ahead of Thursday's round one. Borgonzi talked about if the Titans know what they're going to do with that first overall pick.
Yeah, no, we've come to a consensus. The entire organization is to stay at that pick, and I guess you'll find out Thursday night who we pick.
In other NFL news, 49ers quarterback Brock Purdy has arrived with his team for voluntary offseason conditioning today. The two sides are still working on a contract extension. However, star tight end George Kittle did not show up, as his contract extension is not closed. Tennessee baseball looking for a bounce back tonight as they host Lipscomb at Lindsey Nelson Stadium. First pitch is already happening, so go check that out if you want to watch it. For our foundation repair, waterproofing needs, you need to visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Balls. This is 104.5 The Zone.
HL 104.5 The Zone. Britt Doherty, Don Davenport, Ron Slay, Keith Bullock. Cable 53 in here in studio.
Yeah, we just talking about during the break how Syracuse is going to go to ATL and smack UT opening day.
This is going to be so good, y'all. I'm telling you, we might even
I know where I'm at.
We might have to. I know where I'm at. Yeah. I know where I'm at. We might have to get a little film crew for us to go down there with us on this one, but.
Oh, yeah.
At least for Saturday. Maybe
that would be good.
All the OGs are coming out from Syracuse. I know. We already been talking about it.
Yeah.
I know Syracuse played Tennessee several times since the 97 year. But, ESPN needs to run that game more often.
They do.
There was definitely at least 6 first-round draft picks in that game and, at least 30 draft picks.
Yeah, there was maybe the best call that's ever been made by an official too. On that fourth down and 10 to Peerless Price that he clearly was interfered with, and
you know what,
kept that drive going.
But that's why the Vols will always be all right to me. You know what I mean? Because the fans are realistic. When it comes. Kind of realistic.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know if that's ever been said.
UT is kind of borderline Alabama-ish when it comes to it. Y'all get kind of.
Yeah, insanity.
I'm sorry. Brent's looking a hole through me. Not Alabama.
No, I was looking at Zeph. Zeph has a stat for you.
You're a little insane.
The University of Tennessee is 3-0 against Syracuse all time.
Man, who asked you, bro? The voice? Stay behind the glass.
Where did this voice come from?
Like I say, hey, Slade, that's what I have to say. I know where I'm at. Yeah, I got Tennessee right here, Auburn, Tennessee behind the glass. I know where I'm at.
Exactly where I'm at. That's going to be a good time, though. Like you just said,
sure.
y'all
if nothing else, it's going to be a good time.
Yeah. And listen, that's...
Go get you some wings.
Exactly. We don't know what's going to take place on the field, and good luck to them, but Friday and Saturday leading up,
I heard Ramon was champion a quarterback that didn't even get to campus yet. He's like, oh, Nico's here? Well, I'm going to go where Nico was at. That's wild.
Isn't that crazy?
These millionaires.
It's wild.
Because that's what these guys are, millionaires. Mm-hmm. They're going to have it spent before they're out of school. Mm-hmm. They're running from the smoke.
That's the wildest part to me.
Slay was saying that the other day. Literally, what can they spend their money on? They should be so busy.
You know what?
With sports.
You know who's making out like a fat rat? These fake custom jewelry guys.
All them jewelry.
All these fake custom. Because that jewelry is not real.
No, I promise you.
It's not real.
That's the what they got now, the lab diamonds and stuff.
Yeah.
They heavy into that now.
With they zircon.
Yeah, boy. They big shiny. But that's the thing too, though. What you were just alluding to, dog. When I went to UT, regardless of, all right, here we go. Pull the curtain back. Money was given out then. You know what I'm saying? You could choose to go that route if you want to go where somebody may pay, you know what I mean? Or you can do what? You can hit the grind. Dog, they were already loaded at UT when I got up there. it wasn't even no question. Me, Harris Walker, all of us, we brought in 5 freshmen from our class, and everybody played. We knew what it was when we got on campus. Like, they had all SEC guys. They wasn't ducking the smoke thinking about transferring, and we wasn't thinking about, like, man, somebody got to sit the bench. No, we going to get it, man, and that's how it always was. I don't understand with the money being involved how that even makes you run, because at that time we were just lobbying to get like 2,000 more or 4,000 more, and that would last maybe a month and a half. You know, you got 2 more months, you got to figure it out, but. This money they got, like the 600, 700, 800,000.
That's crazy.
I can't even. Hey, listen, I was a party animal. I'm telling you. I'm taking everybody out. Like, I still couldn't spend that much money, and still keep up my performance on the court. It's no way possible. It's no way possible, dog.
And you know what? These kids are setting themselves up for they're setting themselves up for failure at the next level, because if I'm a scout, right? If I'm an NFL scout, I'm looking at how many times you transfer. Why are you transferring, dog?
Yep.
Like, why don't you sit there, take the competition, and face the smoke? So now that we're paying you real not that they're getting fake millions.
Right.
But you're getting adult, professional millions. Like, I don't know that I can rely on you, you know, and that's the thing with Jackson Dart. I believe it was the Florida game this year, and they were up, and it was kind of close in the fourth quarter, and he might have thrown a pick late. And he
did. He threw multiple picks.
Late, right?
Yep.
And then when they panned to him on the sidelines, he's sitting there like...
He was like crying.
Yeah.
Right. So that's why I'm saying, and people, I'm not hating on him, the kid, but like I'm not drafting him in the first round.
I forgot about that.
Like against University of Florida, who wasn't even that good.
Yeah, you had the better team.
You had the better team. Like, that's when you got to be, like, you're the quarterback. I remember my quarterbacks being like, come on, y'all, we got this. I got this. Let's go. Don't worry. Defense, get me the ball back. I don't remember none of my quarterbacks sitting on the sidelines like about to so I can't draft that in the first round.
What was crazy was he threw the first pick because they were down 1 score. He threw the first pick, and then he went to the bench, and, like, it looked like he was crying. But then they got the ball back, and so he had to go back out there again.
And he couldn't perform. So that's what I have to say to people that get on me about on my Twitter when I say Jackson Dart. Like, he showed you who he is. Like, you know what I'm saying?
We've been through that once.
Against Florida at home.
Yeah.
Like, his mom was literally in the stands.
Dawn, are you enjoying this one?
I love it.
Why you're not a Jackson Dart? I'm not a fan. Nope. I'm just saying why when people talk about he should be a first rounder and all that. Like, come on, man. Like, I'm not saying he won't be a decent, good quarterback, but when it was time to step up, I've seen Shador do it. Yeah. I saw Cam do it. Yeah. So that's why I put those two over him if he's the third.
I also think he struggles to read a defense. So
there's that.
There's that too.
So there are so many people.
You're like literally on the field, and you can be like,
yeah, like I'm standing behind you, and I saw that. What are you doing?
Yeah, right. There's so many messages in the Evan and Bank chat. We appreciate y'all being there, but I forget who said this, but. They said the question that should have been asked today was, are you drafting the best player at number 1?
Overall.
Yes.
Which their answer is going to be yes, but.
Because they said over and over in this press conference, we are not drafting for need.
Right.
We will take the best available top player on our board.
This is, hang on before everybody answers, Mike Borgonzi talking about that very thing.
Yeah, and that's part of, staying true to the board. I think you're trying to marry up the need with the value too. You never want to force a need in the draft. And for us, we do have a lot of needs, so I think it's important for us to stay true to the board and really take the best available player, at that pick. But for us, like I said, we don't want to force needs here and force a pick based on that.
I feel the same way. I mean, you want to take the best player available. Everybody says that. Not everybody follows that. The times in my career where I've seen we've made mistakes, either earlier in my career to even some of my mentors, when you kind of reach on a player based off of need. Like Mike just said, I mean, we got a lot of needs. So we're just going to trust the process. We're going to trust the board. We're going to let the board talk to us. The work has been done. We're prepared. Now, the draft is unpredictable at times, and I know we're picking at the top, so maybe a little bit more of an understanding of who might be there or who might not be there. But at the same time, we're prepared for whatever comes at us, and we just got to take the best player.
So that's interesting. All right. So there's a different quarterback draft than the regular draft, right? Like, so is Cam Ward the best player in this draft, or is he going to be picked because they have such a need at quarterback? I mean, despite what they just said,
it's funny. I'm smiling because you got the first pick. It's like playing poker with a full house. Like before you drop. Like it don't matter what nobody else got. So their board could read however they want it to do. I feel like what's important for their board to read is after picks number 1. Because if they're saying we're, going through the draft to get the guys that we need, so I feel like the last several years, they've been trying to assure the O-line, and I think that they've done a little bit better. They've done a lot bit better. O-line will be better this year. Now what they have to do, Titans don't have no heat. They don't got no heat off the edge.
Yeah. Nope.
But they put all the pressure.
Honor's gone.
They put all Honor Landry.
You want to go viral on Friday?
Honor
with the second pick of Tennessee Titans select Honor Landry. I'm just kidding. Shout out DY. And then give the pick. That would go everywhere.
I give a shout out to my boy Honor Landry.
I've got a pronunciation guide back here for you if you want to practice.
Yeah, I think I'll be all right. Hey, but no, I feel like the Titans need some heat off the edge. Yeah. They don't have any playmakers at linebacker. Big Jeff and Big Sweat, they do their thing up front. I feel bad for Big Jeff. Every game, they putting a camera in his face. He played D-tackle. Why is he supposed to have all the answers? And then people are like, "Oh, Jeff, like he's a defensive tackle, bro." And I'm not taking away from the position, but he's not. He's not your guy. Yeah, you know what I mean? What type of answers is he really supposed to have for you? But that's what happens when you're, quote, the face of the team.
I mean, you knew that. You were that.
Right. For
At
sure.
least by the time I got here, you were that.
Absolutely. That's because everybody left. They got rid of everybody. No more Samari, no more Steve.
They did that all in 1 year, man.
No more D-Mace.
That was crazy.
It was like right after that I got here, and you were the guy.
And they had a press conference and announced all of that at the same time. We were all like, oh, my God.
It was pretty crazy to me because you're hanging with your boys, then you come back, and then now your football team's not good. And I'm in a position, I don't know how to, react to that. So I react out of frustration. And then Jeff had to call me into his office one day. He's like, look, this team is either going to go up with you or you're going to bring it down. My attitude, I don't like to lose. So, all right, I'll put my attitude and put more pressure on my teammates to perform. So I've been there. I've been where Jeff has been when we weren't good. You know what I'm saying? I got here, we were good. Then we weren't good. And then, I think the best part of my career was being a part of getting the team back to where it was before I left. You know what I mean? I feel like that's what it was all of. That's what it became about for me. Once we got, year 5, 2005, 2006, let's get it back to where it was. And it wasn't easy. I don't probably had a lot of teammates that didn't like me, but I don't care. I wanted to win. I don't care. Do your job, right? You got to have people. You got to hold people accountable. Most importantly, yourself. That's what I like what Callahan said. He's like, look, we got, we have to coach better. We have to do better as coaches. But look, man, you get paid. These players get paid millions of dollars, and a lot of them are trash. It starts at practice. It starts at practice. So,
I love watching practice with you. I mean, you point out all that stuff.
You should dominate at practice. You should always dominate at practice.
Shout out to Keith and Ron Slade from your boy Rob Savage.
Rob, what up, man? Yeah.
You been on his pod yet?
Nah, not yet. I seen him lurking around town though. I see my boy get
right. He does a great job of doing history of the city.
Yep, we need that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
I love that.
We do a real good job. One of the things too that Babs pointed at me when you start talking about Big Jeff and him always getting the mic in his face because he got that franchise tag, air quotations, he is that leader of the team. He is that voice. And a lot of times that ain't the last 2 years actually have nothing to do with him. Whether he's playing through hurt, can he go up a little bit more? All right, yes, can he be Superman from the D tackle spot? Cool. They brought some people in, was able to move them around. But like you just said, it's nothing coming off the edge now. It seems in this offseason, focused on, all right, whatever we get, So the highest value for need would be at the quarterback spot. So before we even go get our quarterback, let's protect that. So they shored up the offensive line, like you said, which leads to maybe we go get a quarterback. If you go get a quarterback, what does that say to your guy that always gets the mic in his face if in that second round with that first pick, you don't go get him some help? Because now, just like the mic is going to go in Cam's face for a second, but it's always going to be that tag. He's a rookie. He's learning on the job. He'll get it. It's soon to be, especially if he's saying the right things.
There could be no expectation for him to be the face of the team.
So it's still shifting back to Jeff. So what does that say for you if you've been going through that for 2.5 years of losing and the mic's still stuck in your face, and it ain't necessarily y'all fault on that side of the ball?
Hey, man, I would just have to really be honest. And if I was playing in this day and age, yeah, it could me. Because I played for Tennessee for 10 years, and there was a time where
that's what I'm saying, at this point,
where we weren't good and nobody was good, and it's not a knock on any of my teammates. That's just what we could afford at that time because of the salary cap. But that being said, I might jump ship. I need to go out there and get some. It's not about the money. It's about winning, because I'm doing all this. And then now you tell me it's not about relationships. These guys are new in my building now.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So if it's not about relationships, I'm going to still go out there and give the Tennessee Titans everything that I've given them however many years Big Jeff has been here. And then some. If not, if I'm not getting,
going into year 7,
and if I'm not getting that respect, oh, yeah, the guy that brought me in, he cooking up there in New England. I might not need to see what's up there. So there's options for players, these days. And me personally, I stuck it out. It was a different time. It was a different time. But if it's me now, going back to that time, and we BSing in the front office and all that, get me out of here, man.
I mean, they're publicly saying it's a 2-year rebuild. And so as a veteran player like that, I have a narrow window.
And you picking somebody else to rebuild around. You're not rebuilding around me.
But that's cool. But what I will say is when they brought VY in, VY got it jumping. Winning cures everything. VY got it jumping. Winning cures everything. So the defense, is going to come out stout. Big Jeff, they're going to be ready to play. Denard, they did a great job, but the offense couldn't hold them down.
Yep.
The
so many 3 and outs. 3 and outs and turnovers.
And I don't care what anybody says. I've been through it. The defense and a lot of people lost confidence in a lot of the moving parts, whether it's the special teams, whether it's the certain position. You know what I'm saying? It just wasn't 100% confident in the team. Not just one person. When the season's going on and it's game 9, 10, 11, you see everything. When your car is broke down, the radiator don't work, the door don't open right. You got all these special features. You got to pick somebody up. Hey, dog, don't worry about that. You got to do like this to roll the window down.
Did y'all ever have the material on the roof?
And it used to fall down.
Yeah, and you're trying to tuck it back in.
Press it back up.
For it, man.
Stapler with thumbtacks. Put some thumbtacks in that joint.
More with Keith Bullock, 3HL 104.5 The Zone.
Yeah. All right, y'all, listen, KellumStemCellInstitute.com coming to you live and direct where you get an opportunity to sit down with Dr. Kellum. Here's the number that you need to call, 615-850-4415. That will be at KELLUM StemCellInstitute.com. Listen, it is holistic stem cell therapy, not probably what you're thinking of. This has to do with your body's own healing cells. They use them, right? Yeah, those yours. Your body, your cells, your solution. Harvesting and redeploy based on your needs. So if there's a little aching pain right there in your knee, your hip, your back, your neck, your ankle, wherever it may be, they hit it directly. And stem cells attack the inflammation in the body, and everybody knows that autoimmune disorders derive from the inflammation. So whether it's congestive heart failure, lung issues, autism, or arthritis, you need to lean in on this one. 615-850-4415. When you talk to Dr. Kellum, ask him everything that you got on your mind, and I'll guarantee you he's going to help you and walk you right through it. Go get it done. You'll have your own testimony. KellumStemCellInstitute.com.
3HL 104.5 The Zone. Talking with Keith Bullock in studio, NFL Draft Week. He will be announcing the second-round pick coming up on Friday. Maybe he'll get more than one.
If they don't trade it.
That's what I asked yesterday. I was like, what happens to Bully when they trade that second-round pick?
If they trade the second-round pick and I'm going to just get drunk, I guess. Because what else would I be like? Might as well.
I wouldn't be a bit surprised if they traded down from 35 to acquire another pick.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be mad at them if there was no one that, I honestly think the Titans, if Pierce is there from Tennessee or someone comparable to him, I feel like you got to do that.
You got to do that over wide receiver.
Yeah, because look, Tyler Lockett pops in my head, right? 3rd, 4th round pick, right? Yeah. You could get guys like that. You're talking about matching up, a wide receiver with your 1st-round quarterback if that's the route they get. I feel like those 3rd, 4th round guys, they come in scrappy. I have more touchdowns than Traylon Burks. I just want to put this out there. Because I was looking, you heard me say you were a real one.
Is this a Tennessee?
No, not at all.
Man, that was out of nowhere.
I looked back at his board, and I was like, you're a real one. I said it off the break because you don't have Traylon Burks and the Nathaniel Watch. So that's why you're a real one. That's your guy.
That's my guy. I always say that. Yeah, I say when we ride off the cliff, I'm going with him.
Awesome. You got to be.
I'm not telling him.
Why your seatbelt?
Yeah, no, I'm unbuckling mine. The car gonna still be going. I'm gonna be parachuted out.
I love you, Slay. We love you, Slay.
Thelma and Louise right there.
I'm riding with my boy,
you and Traylon.
The city gonna miss you.
Yes,
that's
right.
Yes,
they would. So Mike Morganti actually talked about that. Can there be a player at 35 that keeps them from trading back?
Yeah, that's part of it. That's part of the strategy. We've had those conversations here, especially over the last week. Chad, Brian, myself, Reggie, Dave, we've gone through the whole thing. And that's part of it. You have to be prepared at a certain point. If these players are on the board, if there's a few players that are there, do we not move and take that player? Or are there a few players there that we can move back and maybe pick up a pick? So those conversations have been ongoing here the last week or so.
So tough.
You love his accent, don't you?
Yeah. Where's he from?
Boston.
No, what's the name?
It sounds
you can't say Boston. You got to say
like Jersey.
Jersey.
He sounded Jersey. New York is way deeper, but
I mix it up sometimes. You got Pat Bradley.
They're both from the same spot.
Same spot. It's not Boston. It's a town.
Providence?
No, because they'll correct you if you say it. Hold on, I'm going to tell you right now.
Yo, the Pickin has
Everett.
Massachusetts?
From Everett, Massachusetts, yeah.
I've been there. Mm-hmm. Because in Pop Warner, we used to play a friendship bowl against a Boston team, and we used to play against Everett, Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Nice.
You might have played
they stand alone. I'm telling you.
Everett,
you might have played against Morganti.
Everett and Ipswich and Charlestown, and that's a very interesting part of my Boston. If you're into that stuff, for sure.
Yeah. What was it? They was telling me the mayor. The town is from up there. The mayor of their town was in the mob.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's Whitey Bulger. That's Whitey Bulger area.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, Bully hitting on it. I had to sit up and listen to one of these stories about 3 in the morning one night.
For real?
With Pat Bradley.
I need to go back and watch that movie.
Yeah.
I can
Yeah, he walked right through it.
Zeph said in my ear during that cut, it sounded like he wanted to trade back if he could.
35?
35, yeah. To acquire more picks. They've talked about it before, trying to have more top 100 picks.
I get it. I just, so that's where my knowledge does fall, because it's after the 4th round, you're not getting too many contributors unless they're special team guys. You know what I mean?
I read multiple stories today that indicated the first round isn't what a first round normally is, but 2nd to 4th round, you can find value in starters.
Yeah, 2nd to 4th. Okay, they're going 4th, and
but
look,
not
you would
right
have to.
Away,
yeah,
really.
You would have to name some to me, because I can't necessarily
right.
4th rounders.
No, I get it. I'm just warning you for Friday.
Yeah, the first 3 rounds for sure. I mean, look, Friday, I'm on limited time. My flight is out 6 in the morning on Saturday, so
I'm gone.
I'm gone. 2 words.
Y'all got to pick before 50 or you lose me.
But that's where it's tough. Like, I feel like that's where the jobs of the scouts and the GMs, more so the GMs.
Like the belly of the draft.
Yeah, because I don't really put much into scouts either. Because when I played, I would really ask the scouts, like, yo, who did you draft? Like, who on my team are you responsible for? And a lot of them was not giving it up. I was like, yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. You got the scrubs. Because if it was somebody good, you claiming them. Yeah, that's me. That's me. I got Dawn. I got Slay. Brent.
We used to do that in college. When our recruiting started going down, I was like, man, who got these guys? Like, somebody raise their hand. Who?
Because, that's what I'm saying. Like, when I was the guy that had to answer the questions, it's like, man, like, this is who I'm, like, who's responsible for this? You know, like, as players, we got to answer and be held accountable and all these different things.
Like,
and
what did you see in this guy?
Play with your career how you want. You know, I was at a point where I could, I could say those different things. But, I was really curious because I know I'm practicing every day. I played 127 straight games and then about 70 or so. The wins were coming few and far between. So what are we doing here? Yeah. Because they said the Titans, I think between 99 and 2005, with top, most wins, 60 wins or something. So that's what I'm saying about game 60, 70 that we started going downhill.
Like, what's going on?
Let's hear more from Brian Callahan. Is there any added pressure when developing a quarterback that has been drafted at number 1?
Oh, no, no added pressure. I think the old adage is, pressure is a bit of a privilege. You get a chance to work with a great player when you pick him at the top of the draft. So happens to be a quarterback, and that doesn't change anything for me. How I go about my job, what I do on a day-to-day basis, what I believe about the development of the position, none of that changes. It's exciting. It's what you hope for. I mean, it's what you want as a coach. Is you want those types of players on your roster. You want to coach them. You want to be a part of that journey. I've been fortunate to be a part of a few of them. It's exciting, and so there's nothing added to what already is the job. That's just part of it, and I'm fully aware of the expectation that comes along with that, and I embrace it. I'm excited for that to happen.
You like this guy, don't you?
Callie talking like he about to go out there and play.
Just get some stuff done.
Cool Cal. He obviously he speaks as if he's seen something he likes. He speaks as if he's seen something that he's seen before. And that leads to the excitement that he speaks about.
That they're onto something, and he feels that way.
Yeah, I mean, look, Cal, what I do tell you, baby, it better be this year, because if not,
that's right.
There'll be the big 2. You're out of the big 3. Because they will be a new head coach.
But to Bullet Point, that's what I felt coming into last season. Like, that's what made me start to buy in. That's why I thought you saw that eruption on the sideline of Cali, him not showing that in front of the media. And like he said, he came out, as a head coach, the camera's on you a little bit more, so you got to kind of watch your reactions to things like that. But he came out of the offseason going into the season knowing that, hey, man, we done made some progress with Will Levis and this offense. I know what we're going to be. But then to get into the game and you see something totally different, you're like, hey, what the was that? Hold on, you ain't did that all offseason.
That's exactly what led to that reaction. That's exactly.
Wait a minute,
where has this been?
Yeah, I thought that was long gone. We did that in week 1.
The only coach that could have had a funnier reaction that would have had to be in the film room is Coach Mack.
Yeah.
Because the way Coach Mack be asking questions to the obvious, man, I could only imagine, bro. I could only imagine.
I know that would have been good by Mac, boy.
Man,
can't we all see that?
Yes, ain't no question.
He's gonna say what the F without saying it, but you're gonna know that's what he's asking you.
Yeah,
exactly what you're saying here.
So hearing him talk like this to Bullet Point, he's seen something in Cam. You know when you got your guy.
Yeah.
And he's never had an opportunity to get his guy. So bring a little bit more hope.
Let's get a little more with Callahan. Speaking of Cam Ward, he talks about Cam Ward's journey through college.
I think he's had a unique journey. I think the landscape of college football has changed in the last handful of years with the amount of opportunity guys have to transfer. I think there's a world now where there's some players that you see nowadays that maybe 10 years ago you might not have ever heard of them. And I think the opportunities for these guys, because of the way the transfers work, especially the quarterback position, because only one guy gets to play. And these guys have had unique journeys, Cam in particular, to get to where they are, because they've had to learn new teammates and new locker rooms and new systems. All those things factor into it. So there's a little bit less guesswork when it comes to their ability to learn, their ability to assimilate into a locker room, their ability to get along with coaches and to take coaching. And now we also, in Cam's particular case, you got 3 schools worth of people you can talk to, as opposed to one. And there's a lot of different opinions that get had. And you get coaches that had him when he was 18, and you get coaches that now had him in his last season. So I think it's actually really a benefit for some of these quarterbacks, because they eventually enter into a lot of the challenges they enter into when they come to the NFL, because they're learning something new. They're learning new people, new faces, a new way of doing things, whether it's a college or an NFL team. So I think a lot of these guys do have some advantage in that nowadays, even though I know it's not what everybody likes to hear. But there is something about that process that allows you to get a fuller picture for who they are as a person and how they learn and their ability to navigate change.
I could listen to Brian Callahan talk ball. He's not giving you coach speak. He's actually thinking through his answer. And it's interesting because Incarnate Word quarterback back in the day, to his point, would have played there for 4 years.
Absolutely.
And not ended up on the big stage at a Don Davenport game against Syracuse.
And that's what I like, too, is what he realizes is the journey. Because, I'll use Trevor Lawrence. When I retired, I did Nike camps, Nike Elite, the top quarterback. So Trevor Lawrence was always that guy since high school. Even now, he's, through Clemson, and then even now, he's been that guy. So he's always going to have an eye on him, good, bad, or indifferent, and that's what it seems to how his career is panning out. Whereas someone who hasn't had that eye on them and has always had to work, was maybe a 0-star recruit, had to prove himself. Now he's been at WSU for 2 years, Washington State for 2 years, and you have a choice to go. He went towards the fire. He went to the smoke. He went to the U. He went to where all eyes are on me, and it's Tupac Tuesday. That was one of the songs I would always listen to before I took. Yeah, because all eyes are on you, right? If you're that guy, you want everybody to see what you're about to do, good, bad, or indifferent, and you don't worry about failing. You worry about it after you fail, if you fail. But, that's just the confidence.
But that doesn't even cross your mind.
Right, exactly.
When you have that mentality.
Yeah, and then even when things you get a little flustered, you're still not thinking about failing. You're thinking about problem solving. All right, and then as a football team, that's when you get Calvin Ridley coming to hit me in the flat, or however it walks through, and you have to be able to and be ready to handle those situations. Had been in those situations and never run for those situations, and I think that's what we all have seen. To what is playing out for Cam Ward, if he is the number 1 pick, and like everyone's saying, where Titans are leaning that way.
I think they're fully entrenched with him at number 1, and I think they love it, and I think you can hear it if you read into things like I like to do. Thanks for coming in, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you. You know what? I didn't have to get all the way back to Brentwood so early. I was already down here handling some business, so I was like, yes.
Made it easy to stop being on us.
Well, congrats on the Friday honor, and good luck with that.
Yeah. Don't screw it up, Bully.
Pun fully intended when I said Friday honor, but
How Honor, Landry. Yo, you guys need to play that. That is funny. Yeah, now I'm going to hold it down, man. This Syracuse University education should get me through. I had to go to class back in the day. So.
I see you. I hear you. Keith Bullock, y'all, at Cable 53.
Don't know what that is.
Now, for what?
When we come back, Josh Pate was on with Buck Rising, and he told a story about being at Miami practice before the season and what he saw from Cam Ward. It's really interesting stuff. That's next. 3HL 104.5 The Zone. Bring your vision to Ferguson Home where it all comes together. FergusonHome.com, presenting sponsor of 3HL. We went out to the Mount Juliet location, the new showroom out there at Providence Marketplace, 401 South Mount Juliet Road. Absolutely beautiful. Don Davenport was attacked basically by a $13,000 toilet. But they have everything for your budget, whatever your budget is. Powell Avenue in Nashville, New Salem Road, Murfreesboro, West Dunbar Cave Road in Clarksville, Lovers Lane and Bowling Green. Visual Comfort and Company Lighting. Elevate your home with lighting that's timeless and beautiful. Luxury lighting with timeless materials and expert craftsmanship. Check them out, FergusonHome.com. If you're a homeowner creating your dream space, then look no further than Ferguson Home. Ferguson Home has the best selection of bath, kitchen, and lighting for any of your home projects. Bring your vision to Ferguson Home where it all comes together. Again, FergusonHome.com. That's FergusonHome.com.
Hey, speaking of home, you just heard my guy Keith Bullock, using Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville. That's because they're the best. I mean, Keith Bullock would only use the best, right? Yes. Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville. If you need new windows, you need new doors, you know it's been coming, that's who you need to reach out to. And for April, they're celebrating 100 years in business, so they're giving you this. Just ask for the Dawn deal. That's how you get the best deal that they have going. And for April, it's 55% off qualifying installations and no interest if paid in full within 12 months, no promo payments due. Plus, on top of all of that, you get an additional $250 off of your project. That's what Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville will do for you. You know you can trust the company, and it's easy to just schedule a free consultation online. Ask for the Dawn deal. Don't let them forget that that's what you need to get. Do it online at PellaNashville.com.
3HL 104.5 The Zone. Appreciate Keith Bullock sitting in here, breaking it down.
Way to rock with us, Bully.
Josh Pate was on with Buck Rising, and we need to get to this quickly because I know I want to see what Slay has to say about this. But Josh Pate, you'll find him everywhere on the internet covering college football. He does Buck Show a lot. Great follow on Twitter. He was at a Miami practice right before the season and saw how – and keep in mind, Cam Ward knew to there, right? Mm-hmm. Like coming from Washington State. So as Brian Callahan was talking about, new locker room, new players, and according to Josh Pate, demonstrating leadership abilities, this was his take.
There are guys that you want to be leaders because they're the most talented on your team, but for whatever reason, intrinsically, like they don't have that. So they lead by example, they play good, but they never, like grab the roster by the throat. And they've been there for and they've been there for a while, okay? Then you have other guys who, you ever seen the movie Moneyball?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, and when the scouts are sitting around and they're talking about a guy and they describe him and they say he's the kind of guy where when he walks in, his blank has already been there for 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. Well, that's Cam Ward when he walks in. Okay, so I'm down there. He's been on campus, I want to say 48 hours at the point I'm down there. And I'm watching him coach his team. It's player-led workouts. Coaches aren't even out there. Because he wasn't in spring. He wasn't there for spring. So he is, I don't know how to describe this other than to say if you were watching a general command troops, that's what it was like watching him. It was like watching a big brother and a bunch of little brothers, and the way that you would talk to a family member who is the little version of you, that's how but he's talking to linemen like that. He's talking to everyone on the team like that. And I'm looking at it, and I'm just talking with a couple of guys administratively, and I'm saying, what is happening? And they said, that's just what he was like the moment he walked in. And so I sat there, I watched the whole workout, and you would have thought the guy was a fourth-year starter and knew everyone, because there's a way that you have to earn the right to talk to somebody. Absolutely. Like you and I can joke around in a way that if a production assistant's walking down the hall, he would never be able to talk to you. Well, it was that times 100 with Cam Ward. And so he's like Xavier Restrepo, All-American receiver. He's been there for him for a long time. Not only is he getting dog cussed by Cam Ward, it's almost a yes, sir, no, sir response to him. And he's been there for 48 hours. So I just watched that in awe. Because the thing about it is he had not produced for them yet. He hadn't played a down for him yet. And he just walks in with that kind of swagger. And not only did he do it, I've seen people do that and try and fake it. Because I've seen the guys that they want to be leaders and they try and be vocal leaders, and it's so fake. You can see through that in 2 seconds.
Buddy, I've covered plenty of them.
Yes. Pro level, college. And I don't care if it's Pee-wee. There are guys whose dads just drive them to practice and say, you need to be more vocal today. You need to be a vocal leader. Well, if you are, you are. If you're not, you're not. And it's like seeing through cellophane wrap if a guy tries to be that. And then you got guys like this who are just born to be that. So later in the year, I'm down there again. It's the middle of the season, latter portion of the season. This guy is wired a little differently. I'm just telling you, the way he carries himself is a little bit different. It's not performative at all. It's just it kind of emanates off of him. So he's in the running for the Heisman. He doesn't know how the Heisman process works. He's never been through it before. Most people haven't. So I'm sitting with the sports information department down there, and they actually get a letter. We're sitting there in real time. The mail comes in, and it is a letter from the Heisman Trust, which, by the way, is pretty wild when you see the packaging those letters are delivered in. So they just wrapped up practice. So Cam Ward's kind of walking off, and he walks down the tunnel or whatever, and the SID down there tells one of his assistants, go grab him right quick. I got mail for him. And so he walks back over, and it was the mail. It was the letter that the Heisman Trust sends out in, I guess, November, not to let you know you're a finalist, but to let you know you're probably going to be a finalist. It's like you're one of our watch list guys. Mm-hmm. And so they're all excited, because this is the first time Cam Ward's gotten mail from the Heisman. Can't wait to see his reaction. Should we get the digital media team to record it? And he opens it up and says, what is this? He does not know anyone's watching. I'm telling you, it's just the way he reacted. He looked at it and said, what is this? And they said, well, it's from the Heisman. He said, I'm a finalist? And they said, well, you're not a finalist. you're just being informed that you're in the running to possibly maybe. They wadded it up. This is really nice paper, man. It's got the Heisman Trust seal on it. Like, it looks like a wedding invitation. Yeah. And he wads the thing up, throws it away. I'm going to leave out some words. He goes, let me know when I'm a finalist. And he just walks up and walks back out the tunnel. And they're looking at me because I just happened to be there. And they said, yeah, that's the way he's been all year. We don't really mess with him. That's just the way he's been all year.
Josh Pate on the Buck Rising show. What do you think?
I think that's some great insight. Just me hearing that for the second time.
Been there for 48 hours.
Yeah,
and basically turns into a yes or no sir thing.
If that's the case, and I know Josh Pate ain't on here lying or fabricating a story or anything, I just take that as, he was around some undeveloped dogs. Just it's that simple. Because I ain't met nobody that can walk in a room and dog cuss me.
Yeah.
Oh, you like so damn man. Who the hell is you talking to and what you done on this level, homie? Yeah. No, ain't what? No, but
I wondered how you took that. Yeah.
I'm like, okay, that must mean that they really wasn't nothing. And he needed to elevate everybody's play.
Could you walk into a situation with a bunch of guys and kind of read the room that quickly? Like, and they said he had been there for 48 hours and he had already read the room, and like for him to act that way, he understood that they needed leadership.
I know some of the guys on their team, they were undeveloped. This is the thing. You got to it's a way to conversate with people, and it's a way to be a leader. You choose how you do it. Dog cuss a strong word. I would love to have been there to see.
Define that.
Dog cussing, that's dog. Hey, man, my mouth, man, Sailor ain't never seen nothing like this. Dog cussing? I don't know.
This is going to be interesting.
That's
NFL Draft Eve coming up tomorrow. We've got you covered. We've got Mike Detillier on at 3 o'clock. We've got Coach Mack at 3:20. We've got Todd Furman at 4:20. And then it's on Thursday. We'll be at Nissan Stadium. And then maybe have something for you on Friday. Stay tuned. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us today as we talk through the NFL Draft. And we certainly appreciate you including us in your lives and in your day. We do not take that for granted, nor do we take that lightly. Good night. God bless.
See ya.
Wouldn't want to be you unless you were getting a shout out to Cam Ward, who will walk in 48 hours and dog cuss the hell out of you.
Big Jeff. Traylon Burks.
I could have never been in that room.